sweet. But bow down, little man, and kiss my feet. Yeah, you're misinformed, misguided, mistaken. And that charm, boy, I know you're faking. Me with that misogyny. You ain't the man you think you be. Miss me with that hypocrisy. Your fragile ego and royalty. I'm misbehaving and just being me. Miss me with that misogyny.
Hey, Mama Bash. Come on up if you want. I'm just getting my YouTube started.
You quote some podcast, call it intellect. But all I see is you begging for respect. You rate our bodies, dismiss our brains, then cry not all men again. Miss me
Hey, Crystal.
Miss me with your side, miss me with your sweetheart. Boy, bye, bye, bye. Miss me with that misogyny. Don't need your fake apology. Miss me, can't you see? I'm a star. You're just an extra baby. Miss me with that misogyny.
Hello.
Good morning, Mama Bash. Good morning, Evil Llama. How are you both today?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, no. You know what? Hang on. I can't hear, and I think it's because I have the wrong Bluetooth hooked up right now. So I got to reset my headphones. Sorry about this. I need this. Okay, now I should be able to hear y'all.
Hello? Hello?
Not
Can you
near
hear me?
Now I can. I was like, wait, why do I see the boxes lighting up? It was going to a different Bluetooth device. So I had to reset it. Sorry about that.
Sorry, we got raptured there for a minute.
How are you doing today, Mama Bash?
I am doing well. Crystal, how about you?
I'm doing very well this morning. Had a nice weekend with my husband and ready to do some live streams this week and hopefully talk to some believers.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of want to talk about the Bible today, and I want to know, like, why should I trust it? Because I feel like most believers don't trust it. You know?
I agree.
You definitely, I mean, so if we think about this, like all the contradictions that are in it, there's like thousands of contradictions in the Bible. And then there's also tons of, let's see, they speak against women. You know, the Bible, like why women follow a lot of this is like I was in a friend's panel and like he said, why follow the Bible when it's against women? And they had, and I was sitting there listening to all this and I'm like, you know, it does make sense that there's a lot of like things in there that make women seem like lower than dogs.
And we're going to talk about some of that today. I have my anti-sermon ready today, and it is on Sarah. And it's a good
Yay.
one. It's a good one. So we're going to talk about Sarah today. And then the next one, of course, will be on Hagar, because we are just going in order through the Bible and talking about any girl or girls, woman or women that are mentioned, named or not named. We're going to go over every single one of them. And today is Sarah. Hey, Joyful. Good to see you this morning. Hope you're having a good day. We just want to get to 5,000 likes and 100 shares as quickly as possible. I know that's a lot when there's just a few of you in here, but I promise you, the more you do it, the more people will show up, and then you know, it makes the workload easier when there's more people in here. So if y'all could tap the screen, repost, share to your Discord, share to your stories, whatever you can do to help push out the live, it is greatly appreciated. Make sure you also send your heart me's and collect your team points. When we move up in the daily rankings, it helps boost us out to the FYP. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome in, Elizabeth. You know, I don't think you've been in here when I've said it, but thank you so much for your gifts. I really appreciate it. I am upgrading all my equipment. As you can see, I already have better lighting now. I'm sitting at a wonderful desk. I'm getting a chair this week, like one that will allow me to sit longer. And because I am telling you, if you're not in a comfortable chair, oh man, your back hurts being in a seat like this for hours. So I need to get a better chair, because this chair was not made for me to be sitting at for long periods of time. Yeah, and then I'll be getting a new computer soon. So thank you all. Every time you get, so we even moved up a little. Every time you gift or tip, and my tip locations are in my link tree. You guys are helping me upgrade my equipment so that I can bring you more content. And eventually we'll be out on Twitch, YouTube, vertical and horizontal on my own channel. Right now we're vertical on my channel and horizontal over at the Deconstruction Junction YouTube. Good morning, everybody over on YouTube. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. And to all the mods over on YouTube, you guys are amazing. It is hard work on YouTube mods. It's a different ball game over there, I'll tell you. I'm going to let more people get in here. Once we get about 20 people in here, I will go ahead and do the anti-sermon. But in the meantime, if you are a believer and you think that I should trust the Bible, that's what we're talking about this morning. I want to know, why should I trust the Bible? I have been told by so many Christians that there's lots of reasons to not trust the Bible. So you know, my TikTok mods know I love them, but I feel like I don't say thank you enough to the YouTube mods. So I realized I needed to say it to them. But TikTok mods and we all mod together for so many of the creators. So I kind of know all the TikTok mods, and they know I love them. We talk on a daily basis. I think I talk to the TikTok mods more, and so I felt kind of bad for the YouTube mods, because I feel they don't get enough recognition. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. My cat was just standing in a corner. It looked like she was in timeout. That was kind of funny. Thank you for the hashtags. Yeah, that should help too. I really appreciate it. I'll send it out to a few more of my guests. If you guys can share it out by sharing it out to some of your friends, reposting it, hitting the copy link, and then you don't actually have to send that copy link. But those 100 shares are really important. I actually just shared it to myself. I didn't even know you could do that. I did not know that was an option. Don't forget that you can complete your heart me task. It's 1 coin. Go up to the top of the screen, hit the heart me, send me a heart me, and then go back up and claim your points for the day. I think I need to change my gift goal too, because this is from the other. Oh no, that's it. Okay. Our gift goal today is the little cathedral window thingies. Don't forget we have for 3 hours. I'll be on for 3 hours. And then if we meet the gift goal, I'll stay on an extra hour. I'm going to go ahead and play another song for you guys while we wait for some people to come in. This is another upbeat song. We're going to listen to Consent.
C-O-N-S-E-N-T. Consent. It's not an option to be. Consent.
Welcome in, Aaron.
C-O-N-S-E-N-T. No praying. No praying. No touch, don't speak to me without my fucking C-O-N-S-E-N-T. You love your neighbor, but you better ask first.
Why would I be upset?
You pray on trauma with that holy thirst. You'll catch these hands if you lay hands on me without my fucking C-O-N-S-E-N-T. Hey, if you don't get a yes, you'll never have consent. I submit, bitch, don't get in bed. Money ain't a toy, no, don't even play it without consent. Keep your filthy hands away. C-O-N-S-E-N-T. No praying, no praying, no touch, don't
No, I'm not Essie.
without my fucking C-O-N-S-E-N-T. My no is a no. It's learn your scriptures. If you know, you know. You quote the Bible when it benefits you. But fuck your book and fuck you too. You don't ask for consent 'cause your God never does. He just takes what he wants and calls it love. Chosen without asking, punished for doubt. This is what they preach that love is about. Your Jesus doesn't knock, he demands you comply. Deny yourself, follow me, and don't ask why. Heaven's full of godly men do town and send me first class straight to heaven. This is my yes, my no is a no. Bitch, learn your scriptures. If you know, you know. You quote the Bible when it benefits you. My consent ain't subject to you. C-O-N-S-E-N-T. 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 No praying. No praying. No touch, don't speak to me without my fucking C-O-N-S-E-N-T. C-O-N-S-E-N-T.
All right, here is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do I should do some background music for when I read my little sermons, huh? I'm gonna read today's sermon. So real quick, send this out to 5 women that you care about, 5 women who are feminists, 5 women who should be feminists. Send it out to 5 women that really mean something to you. This is very, very important message I'm going to share with people today. And especially if their name is Sarah, send it out to all your Sarahs. Because this is about Sarah today. I'm going to just pick some random followers here, send it out, bringing somebody up. Let me talk to Tower Toppler real quick.
Oh,
Hey Tower, how are you?
how you doing? Oh, I'm good, ma'am.
Doing well. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yes, ma'am. I am 21.
All right. And are you a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Why should I trust the Bible?
Truthfully, from my perspective, I think there is a problem with asking that question because when you link trusting the Bible, you more or less, most people will link trusting the Bible with trusting Christians. And I truly believe you should trust the Bible, but on your own time, read it in your, not your own perspective, but with fellowship of other believers. Do you see what I'm getting at? And try to read the literary context of everything.
I'm asking is because believers are the ones who tell me that the Bible isn't reliable. They tell me that the words it says doesn't really mean what it says. They tell me that there's some secret meaning behind the verses, but they also can't tell me those secret meanings, even though they have the Holy Spirit, but I'm supposed to have the Holy Spirit. Everybody makes up magical reasons why the words in this Bible don't mean what it says. But it says something. And the fact that y'all make up new meanings for it is actually where the problem is. And I think it makes it why I don't trust the Bible.
Yes, ma'am. No, I completely understand that. I mean, I had the same problem. I went from Catholic to completely disregarding that, to Christian to completely disregarding that. And now I believe strictly from the Bible and not from people's perspectives, because that's where we lose a lot of not just followers, but just people in general. Because when it comes to the matter of perspective, like you said, people will take words, make it mean something else, but not tell you the meaning. Because truly, metaphors do exist. Obviously, we know that, but that's why I said you have to study literature context, especially when it comes to the Bible. Because the reason why I trust the Bible.
Well, I study with Hebrew scholars. I study with people who speak Hebrew. I study with actual biblical scholars on this app. I talk to them every day. I listen to them. They teach, I have friends like my friend Thinker. She has studied Hebrew, and she has she was basically a pastor. She wrote books on the subject, and when we read it, it says a thing. And when we say it says this thing, we're told by believers, it doesn't say that thing. Even though we're going to the original Hebrew, even though we're going to...
Leo Ben Lunas, what are you talking about? What heinous thing do I believe? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm super confused with this.
Okay, let's not worry about the chat, because if you want to be in the chat, just go sit in the chat and talk to the chat. But right now you're up on the stage, so you're talking to me.
Generally, I wouldn't trust the Hebrew, or I guess the Judaisms. What do they call it?
You wouldn't trust Jewish people who wrote your Bible?
See, because the thing is, no.
So you don't trust Jesus because Jesus was Jewish?
Yes, ma'am. I do believe in the Hebrew. I believe that Hebrew is my Lord and Savior. But the thing is, I'm a Messianic Israelite. So for me, I do trust a lot of Christ's teachings, and I do believe in the over 40 authors who wrote the Bible with over 60 stories and not all the different copies. Then you have to take the horrible things. Okay, that's dope. Anyways, but see, again, from the matter of perspective, they take it from the Torah and they just leave it at that. They don't read in the entirety of the Bible. They take the Old Testament, what they know from that.
Why would they take something that you all appropriated from them?
The appropriation of what a lot of Christians today take is not from Hebrews. It came from the Romans, who took, again, what the Hebrews
the New
wrote.
Testament is a book on a religion that was taken from the original people, the Jewish people, and it was mutated into Christianity. And Jesus tells you to read that Bible. Jesus tells you that the law is not to go away until the ends of the heaven and earth. Jesus quote from the Torah, and now you're telling me that you don't trust Jewish people, even though Jesus was Jewish. God says they are the chosen people, and you don't trust Jewish people.
So he's contradicting
again,
himself.
when it comes to that matter, Jesus also said that he didn't come, again, like you said, to abolish the Old Testament, but more or less to update it. The way I've seen Hebrews
He doesn't
learn
say
and
that.
teach and celebrate.
He never says that.
I didn't say, okay, not exact words, no, but because
He
I don't
doesn't
remember
even
the
say it
exact
in
verse.
kind of words. He says, do not even fucking think that you're getting rid of any of this until heaven and earth pass away. And anybody who teaches you are is least in the kingdom of heaven. That's what Jesus says.
So look it up for yourself, because again, I don't remember verses that well. I'm not good with actually reading, but
I do.
He does mention the fact that he did not come to get rid of the Old Testament, but more or less to update it. Because for the Old Testament,
he doesn't say he's coming to update it. He does not say he's coming to update it.
Say those
you
words,
all say that. He doesn't. He tells you, do not do away with this. I don't know why you're changing his words. This is
I'm
your
not doing
Lord
away
and
with the Old
Savior.
Testament, but I'm doing away with
Yes, you are. He does not tell you he came to update it. That is something you all put there so you don't have to do the laws. Because you want to be able to eat shrimp. You want to be able to also be a bigot. That is why people... Whatever. Okay, do you wear mixed clothing? Yes. Don't play that you don't throw.
But again, what I'm saying is I don't do away with the Old Testament, but I'm doing the New Testament.
Why do Christians cherry pick everything?
All right.
Oh, we don't do the Old Testament. We only do the New Testament,
brother.
If you're going to go by the Bible, you have to take it as the whole thing. You can't dissect it. Yeah, he left. You can't dissect the Bible. Yeah, he crashed out. So you can't.
Well, he made me upset because he's really anti-Semite, and that's why I got a little heated with him. Bye, Mama Bash. Come back if you'd like. Hey, Evil, I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. I'm going to do my sermon now. But thanks for coming up. You have a good day. I appreciate you being here. Bye. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do my sermon. I should have some music and play it in the background, but I didn't think about that till recently, but I think it would be nice. We're going to talk about Sarah today. And yeah, it was a really difficult one for me to write. So I'm going to go ahead and start it, but keep sending this out. This is a good sermon. Tahir, Sunny, if anybody wants to come up and sit with me, one of my friends want to come up here, Tahir or Sunny, you guys can. But I want to do this for women because it's for my my friends out there, the ones that feel a little left behind from this Bible. Okay, so here we go. All right. Well, Tahir, I'm so happy to see you here. You make me feel like I don't know. You make me feel less nervous when I do these things, when I see your smiley face in chat. Elizabeth too. Like I always feel like I've got friends that are listening and they're on my side. So here we go. All right, here we go. Let's start by reading how Sarah is introduced in the Bible. From Genesis 11:27 through 31. This is the NRSV. Now these are the descendants of Terah. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran became the father of Lot. Haran died before his father Terah, in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was barren. She had no child. Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abram's wife, and they went out together from Ur of the Chaldeans to go into the land of Canaan. That's it. That's the introduction. Before Sarah is a matriarch, before she's a miracle, before she's held up as the ideal woman, she enters the story in a genealogy. Not a scene, not a conversation, not a decision she makes. Just a list. Abram takes Sarai, Nahor takes Milcah, and immediately the text tells us the most important thing about Sarai. Now Sarai was barren. She had no child. Not her character, not her voice, not her personality, her body. Sarah enters the Bible already reduced to her reproductive usefulness. She isn't introduced as a woman with desires. She isn't introduced as someone with agency. She isn't introduced as someone who wants anything. She's introduced as a problem. And that matters because this framing sets the tone for everything that follows. Before she ever gains power, before she ever harms another woman, before we talk about her choices at all, the Bible tells us who Sarah is supposed to be by telling us what she lacks. I'm sorry, I gotta let my kitty out. And of course she doesn't go out. Okay, sorry. Oh, now I don't know where I left off. I really hate that. I'm going to go back a little bit because I really don't remember where I left off. Sarah enters the Bible already reduced to her reproductive usefulness. Kitty's out. She isn't introduced as a woman with desires. She isn't introduced as someone with agency. She isn't introduced as someone who wants anything. She's introduced as a problem. And that matters because this framing sets the tone for everything that follows. Before she ever gains power, before she ever harms another woman, before we talk about her choices at all, the Bible tells us who Sarah is supposed to be, telling us what she lacks. Every promise she receives later will revolve around her womb. Every change to her name will be about fertility. Every reason she matters in this story will be tied to whether her body can finally do the thing it was labeled for. So before we judge Sarah, and we will, we have to be honest about this. She didn't start as a role model. She started as property. She was traded, lied about, and used by men and by the God her husband served. But being abused does not excuse what she will become, and what she becomes isn't a strong, powerful, courageous woman that we should aspire to be, even though for generations, women were taught to lift her up. Why would they teach us that? It's certainly not because she was good, but rather because she fit the system. Sarah's story, power, control, and consequence. Now that we've seen how Sarah enters the story, we need to look at what she actually does once the story moves forward. And we're not going to read every passage. We're not going to soften it. We're not going to sanitize it. We're going to tell the story the way it actually unfolds. Sarah's life is framed around one thing, a promise tied to her womb, a promise made to her husband about her body. She is barren. And in this system, that makes her a liability. Early on, Abraham repeatedly presents Sarah as his sister rather than his wife. Later, the text itself tells us this wasn't a complete lie. Sarah was his half-sister. That detail matters. It tells us this story doesn't move cleanly from incest to morality just because the population grows. It also tells us something about power. Abraham wasn't just her husband, he was her older brother. And Sarah had no meaningful agency in how she was represented or used. Abraham uses a partial truth to create a full deception. He knows exactly what he's doing. He places Sarah in sexual danger to protect himself, and he benefits from it. Sarah's taken, Sarah's traded, Sarah's exposed, and Abraham profits. The text never shows Sarah consenting. The text never shows Sarah resisting. The text barely shows Sarah speaking at all. She is preserved, not because she is protected, but because she is valuable. Eventually, Sarah is told she will have a child, and her reaction is one of the most human moments in the entire story. She laughs. Not out of mockery, not out of rebellion, out of shock. An old woman is told she will give birth, and she responds like someone who understands her own body. And for that, she is corrected, she is questioned, she is rebuked. God treats her laughter as a problem. Isn't it interesting that when Sarah reacts honestly, when she laughs, the story responds by correcting her, renaming her, and redefining her role? This is where the double standard becomes impossible to ignore. Abraham doubts too. He questions, he struggles to believe, and when he does, it's treated as normal, understandable, human. When Sarah does it, she is corrected. When Sarah does it, she is talked down to. When Sarah does it, the text frames her as foolish. Her body is doubted by men, controlled by men, promised by God, and when she reacts honestly to that promise, she is disciplined for it. Eventually, the problem of her barrenness has to be solved, and that solution is another woman. Hagar is introduced not as a wife, not as a partner, not as a choice, but as a resource, a body meant to accomplish what Sarah's body cannot. And this is where Sarah's character becomes clear. When Hagar becomes pregnant, Sarah does not confront Abraham. She does not challenge the system that harmed her. She does not resist the structure that stripped her of agency. She turns her power downward. She abuses Hagar. She punishes her. She drives her out. And where Sarah finally becomes pregnant, when she receives the miracle promised to her, she does not soften. She does not reflect. She does not show mercy. She demands that Hagar and her child be cast out into the wilderness, and the text sides with Sarah. This is not a story about jealousy. This is not a story about insecurity. This is a story about what happens when someone gains power inside an unjust system and uses it to protect their position rather than challenge the system itself. Sarah survives patriarchy. Sarah benefits from patriarchy. And then Sarah enforces patriarchy violently against another woman. And this is the woman we were taught to admire. Now, lean in for a second, especially my femme presenting folks. Read this story one more time, but read it like it isn't sacred. Because tell me this doesn't sound like it belongs on the subreddit, men writing women. The women can't have a baby. So obviously the solution is, hey babe, why don't you fuck my servant? And of course she's totally chill about it. And then of course the servant gets pregnant. And of course the women start fighting. And of course the man is just standing there like, wow, wouldn't be crazy, while benefiting from every single part of it. It hits every trope. Women reduced to bodies, women defined by fertility, women pitted against each other, women emotional, jealous, unreasonable, and the man untouched, desired, central, never the problem. If this were a modern story, we'd be dragging it for being lazy, sexist, self-insert fantasy writing. It doesn't sound like a God revealing deep truths about humanity. It sounds like horny, narcissistic men writing what they think women are like and then calling it divine. Not revelation, projection. How Sarah was taught to us. This is where the story stops being ancient and starts being personal. Because most of us didn't meet Sarah in Genesis. We met her in sermons, in women's Bible studies, in devotionals, in marriage talks, in lessons about waiting, obedience, and faith. Sarah wasn't taught to us as complicated. She was taught to us as powerful. She certainly wasn't taught to us as abusive. She was taught as the example. Be patient like Sarah. Wait like Sarah. Trust God like Sarah. Endure disappointment like Sarah. Be quiet until your promise comes like Sarah. Her cruelty was minimized. Her actions toward Hagar were explained away. Her harm was reframed as understandable, emotional, or even necessary. And that's not accidental. From the very beginning, this story runs on supremacy. Chosen over unchosen. legitimate over illegitimate, favored over expendable. And one of the most effective ways supremacy sustains itself is by turning women against each other. Instead of questioning the system, women are taught to compete inside it. Instead of resisting harm, we're taught to rank it. Instead of asking why the structure is cruel, we're taught to argue about who deserves cruelty more. Sarah is elevated, Hagar is demonized, and the system stays intact. That pattern doesn't stop in Genesis. It becomes the blueprint, because when women are busy judging each other, who's obedient enough, who's faithful enough, who's chosen enough, they are not challenging power, they are reinforcing it. And that's why this story has lasted, not because it produces justice, but because it produces compliance. Sarah was taught to us as the model not because she was ethical, but because she fit a supremacy story that rewards alignment and punishes resistance. And many of us tried very hard to live up to that model until we realized what it was actually asking us to become. When the story stops being theoretical. This is the part where I stop talking about Sarah and I start talking about myself. I might get a little emotional. Doug and I didn't really plan a family. We grew up in a time and a church culture where family planning wasn't something you talked about. People got pregnant. People had babies. You stopped when you felt like you had enough, I guess. Planned Parenthood was demonized so thoroughly that I don't think I fully understood what the name even meant at the time. Doug wanted to stop at 3 kids. I had a son from a previous marriage, and together we had 2 more. He felt done. I wasn't so sure. In the early 2000s, I found out I was pregnant with my 4th child. It was emotionally hard. Doug wasn't ready for another baby. I was a Christian woman, married, already a mother. And while I believed abortion was a decision between a woman and her doctor, I didn't believe it was the right decision for me. So I was going to have this baby. At one point, I sat Doug down and I told him something very clearly. I said, we are going to have this baby. And I'm not going to carry this pregnancy for 9 months while we are scared, conflicted, or emotionally distant. We are going to love this baby. We're going to plan for this baby. And we're going to be excited about this baby because anything else would not be healthy for me. And so we did. We announced it. We started buying baby things. We started preparing our family. And then one day I started bleeding. I knew what was happening. I can't explain it, but I knew. I remember thinking, this is death. I'm losing this baby. I was confused, devastated, and angry. What was the point of all this? Why had God put us through this? Why make us decide, commit, prepare, only to take it away? That same day, I received a card from a dear friend. She knew how hard this decision had been for me. The card said something like this: I have met your family, and there's so much love in your home. I want you to know you're making the right decision. There is room for more. It was a beautiful card. I read it while blood was running down my legs. Somewhere in the toilet, my baby was gone. Did you know that women search through the toilet paper? Did you know that women look for the remains? I didn't know that. But later when I told my therapist, she said it was very common. I rarely think about this story anymore, and I think I know why. Because if I hadn't been a Christian, if I hadn't been steeped in stories like Sarah's, this would have been a tragedy, not a test. A loss, not a lesson. Something that happened to me, not something God was doing to me. I would have mourned. I would have grieved, and eventually I would have moved forward. But because of stories like Sarah's, stories that tie women's worth, faith, and identity directly to their ability to carry children, I believed there had to be a higher meaning. That my body was a message, that my loss was intentional, that my pain was purposeful. And that belief did real harm. This is what these stories do when they are taught uncritically. They don't just shape theology. They sink into our bodies. They attach themselves to our wounds. They turn grief into a spiritual puzzle women are expected to solve. And that's why this matters, because Sarah isn't just a character, she's a template. And what comes next is what that template taught us to do to ourselves and to each other. What this teaching did to women. When stories like Sarah's become templates, they don't stay in scripture. They move into communities. They move into marriages. They move into how women see themselves and how they see each other. This is what that template produces. Stories like Sarah's don't just teach theology. They train behavior. When women are raised on these stories, we aren't taught to question systems. We're taught to locate blame. If something goes wrong, it must be a woman's fault. If someone suffers, it must be because she did something wrong. If there is conflict, it must be because women are emotional, jealous, or unfaithful. So we learn to judge women, but we learn to judge the wrong ones. We judge the woman who speaks up. We judge the woman who leaves. We judge the woman who refuses abuse. We judge the woman who doesn't endure correctly. And we are taught to admire the woman who survives quietly, the woman who is chosen, the woman who benefits from the system, and when she harms others, to stay safe inside it. Even when she harms others, to stay safe inside it. That's how supremacy culture works. It doesn't need men to please women all the time. It teaches women to do it for free. Sarah is rewarded, Hagar is punished, and generations of women learned that proximity to power matters more than compassion. This is why women in these systems are taught to compete instead of connect. Why we are suspicious of each other. Why empathy feels dangerous. Why alignment feels safer than honesty. Because if the story says God chooses some women and discards others, then the worst thing you can be is unchosen. So women learn to protect their statuses even at the expense of another woman's body, even at the expense of another woman's child, even at the expense of their own integrity. And the system thrives on that division, not because it heals anyone, but because divided people don't threaten power, they reinforce it. This isn't a failure of interpretation. It's the intended outcome of a supremacy story. And until we name that, we will keep repeating it in churches, in families, and inside ourselves. My relationship with Sarah and why this was hard to write. I want to be honest about something before we close. I hated Sarah. When I deconstructed, I hated how mean she was. I hated how cruel she was to Hagar. I hated that she's held up as a woman of God while demanding that her enslaved woman sleep with her husband, because that's what that was. It wasn't generosity. It wasn't strategy. It was coercion. It was rape. And I hated that this woman was still called righteous. That hatred is part of why I separated Sarah from Milcah and Iscah. I couldn't write about her casually. I couldn't fold her into a group of women and move on. I needed to sit with her and with what she represented. Because as much as I despised her actions, the deeper I went, the more uncomfortable the realization became. Sarah is also a victim. She is traded. She is lied about. She is used. Her body is promised, discussed, renamed, and disciplined without her consent. She is raised inside a system that tells her her worth lives in her womb and nowhere else. And that's where the story stops being about liking or disliking her. Because when you are harmed inside a supremacy system, you are eventually faced with a choice. You can repeat what was done to you, turn your pain downward, protect your position, survive at someone else's expense, or you can refuse to pass it on. Sarah didn't refuse, and that matters, but so does the system that shaped her. Christian indoctrination does this to women very, very early. Before you even have language for yourself, you're already being told contradictory things. You are filthy rags. You are a queen. You are subservient to men. You are the bride of Christ. Your body is dangerous. Your body is sacred. Your suffering is holy. Your doubt is sinful. You start out dehumanized, and then you're told to become virtuous inside that confusion. Sarah was presented to us as the role model, Hagar as the villain. And that inversion didn't just distort scripture, it distorted us. Writing this was hard, not because Sarah is real, but because I was taught she was. Because my body carried her story. Because when I lost a pregnancy, I wasn't just grieving. I was searching for meaning, blame, instruction. Because stories like hers trained me to believe that if I couldn't understand what God was doing to me, the failure must be mine. That confusion cost me connection. It cost me softness towards other women. It cost me compassion for myself. And I know I'm not alone in that. This sermon isn't about redeeming Sarah. It's about releasing ourselves from stories that taught us to compete instead of connect, from hierarchies that made us suspicious of each other, from the lie that our bodies are messages to be decoded instead of lives to be lived. We don't honor women by pretending harm didn't happen, and we don't heal by repeating it. We heal by telling the truth about the systems, about the stories, and about ourselves. And next time, we'll tell Hagar's story on her own terms. And that is my anti-sermon today. And I think I need like an applause button or something. And even my friends want to come up and talk because I always feel uncomfortable. But thank you. You're mad about what, Victory? I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you, Sunny. All right. I was just going to send you an invite and then you popped in. Yay. Hi, Grana.
Hi. Wow, that was so powerful. I don't even know what to say, to be
Hey,
honest.
Brad.
It was, I mean, I have chosen for most of my life not to have relationships outside of marriage, but a lot of it is just because of me, not because of my religion. But it's so confusing when you do that and you are a Christian because you feel like they, they could tell you that's who you're supposed to be, is this married woman with children. Because I chose not to get married and not to have children. There was always this like, what's wrong with me? Why am I such a horrible being to not be able to have children? And then I got to the age where I couldn't have children anymore. And I went through all the emotions again. Like, now I'll never have that. And I always looked at it as that was something you were supposed to do with your life. You failed in this. And you could, even if you were to like adopt or something, it's not that, that you still failed, which is ridiculous, of course, because if you ever choose to adopt, it's the same thing. There's no difference, But I just, listening to you and what she went through, I can't imagine, you're having to sit there and just let and not only but almost have it be because of you that your husband has a child with someone else to make him
Yeah.
happy. You just do it to
Yep.
make him happy. And now, and part of the reason why I don't date is because I think most men wouldn't make me happy. And
Yeah.
she didn't have that choice. She didn't have that option.
It's her own brother too.
Yeah.
It's her own brother.
Oh, sorry, that just creeps me out because I have two brothers. So
And I know they're like half brother, but
still,
you know,
I'm sorry.
my when my children were growing up, you know, my son is my daughter's half brother. But I told them, and I'm just telling you right now that is probably the very first time I've ever said those words in my life. I've never used that term ever to describe him, ever. Because when the children were little, I said, you don't use that term. You are brothers and sisters. That's what you are. That's just what you are. And we don't distinguish, because when you put that name there, that is when you have separated them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That is when the separation begins, the moment you give it a name. You just say brothers and sisters, and that's what you are. And I could, like, what the fuck? Like, when I read this story now, like, what? Like, that is, and then we pretend like all the incest was over with when Adam and Eve, like, children grew up or something. No, it wasn't. No, the fuck it wasn't.
Right. And you said you're going to talk about the slave girl next, right?
Yes, Hagar.
I can't wait for that. Hagar, thank you. Because how much of a choice did she have in all of it? You know, that's the thing. Like,
no choice. No choice. And all they do is abuse her the entire time. And then they do, and we're going to talk about this, exactly what happens to so many abused women in the church. So many are sent back. So many children are sent right back. So abuse is rampant because you are sent back to your abusers, just like they're going to do to Hagar in the story.
Yeah, I have I still have a Christian counselor because he's really good. And I remember one time I was sharing him a story about when I decided to walk away from my ex and why. And I don't know if people want to hear it now because it's kind of it's hard. And I tell him this, and I tell him that the therapist that we had just seen twice, but this was our second time going to see her, that I walked into her a little early and I said, you know, I'm going to tell him today that I'm done. And she said, I don't know if that's fair to him. And when I told my therapist this, my current therapist, he said, what? He said, that's ridiculous. I'm so proud of you for still leaving him, even though she said that. And I could not believe the amount of relief I felt, because I just assumed since one therapist had said it and he's a Christian therapist, he's going to agree. But he was like, no, you were in an abusive situation. That proved it. That proved he wasn't going to change and you needed to get out. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect you to say that. And not only just said that's good, but tell me how proud he was of me for doing it, because he knows that I tend to listen to authority, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just that's what
I was told to go back. I was told to go back to because I was ready to go the first sign of it, because I guess there were kind of signs before, but they're the ones that are like, you don't know, you're young, and you're like, is that really, or am I being dramatic? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But what the first sign where it was very evident, nope, that's an abusive man right there that you're married to. You know, that first sign, I was like, hey, when do I leave? Like, what's the protocol for this? Like, you know, and they were like, oh no, you stay and you pray, babe. You stay and you pray.
No. Thank God you didn't listen. Or you might have listened.
No,
for a while,
I did listen, and it wasn't until he tried to unalive me before I left. So.
Oh wow! See, that's what I was actually 31 when I got married, so I was pretty old. But I knew all the signs for physical abuse, but didn't realize I didn't know the signs for emotional abuse. And they're very different because they're very conniving, and they don't just all of a sudden one day there's all this emotional abuse, it's very slow and it's very tricky, and for most guys at least. And so I didn't know those signs. Had I known those, it probably would have been different. But I didn't. I'm just like, well, he's not going to hit me. So why am I so freaked out? What's my problem? And it took him punching holes in the walls till I realized, oh, maybe I need to get some help here.
Yeah. Mine did things like he put his hand around my neck, but like he didn't and
Right.
so I thought, well, see, that's not really abusive because he didn't really do anything, right? That's what I thought. He threw something at me, but he missed, so that's not physical abuse,
He wasn't
right?
really throwing it at me. He was just throwing it
right, because he
near
would
me.
have hit me if he meant to, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, mine was the first physical thing was he came up to me. He was really mad about something that I had told him to do differently, and he was mad because he didn't listen. He grabbed my arm.
Hang on one second.
not
I just
hard.
hang on one second. We do know that abuse happens to men too. I'm sorry that we're not
course.
centering men today. I am so sorry that men are not being centered today. God forbid a day that we don't talk about men. Go ahead, Grandma Zana.
Yeah, so he had his hands on me like to stop me, but he wasn't hurting me at all. And I just immediately stopped. I said, get your hands off of me. I said, don't you ever touch me when you're angry again. And he immediately stopped and apologized and all this stuff. So I was like, oh, he's not physically abusive. He's just, he just got frustrated,
Yeah.
And I did get out before he became physically abusive, but he was definitely heading that direction, But just crazy.
And it's sad because the way we're taught to look at these women, to see Sarah as the hero of this story and Hagar some villain, and because of that, those things, that's what they teach us, those lessons. We're hearing it as a little girl. We hear this story from the time we're a little girl. Be patient like Sarah,
Don't laugh at God like Sarah did. Trust God.
Trust God, even though the man laughed. Who gives a fuck about that? I mean, not that he laughed, but even though the man showed the same amount of shock, don't worry about that. Also, don't pay attention to Sarah beating her or treating Hagar abusive. No, don't look at that, because just remember, Hagar's lucky too, because she got a son by Abraham too.
Right.
So there's that, right? Like,
right. And their life ended up
and then we
so
end
great.
up judging each other incorrectly throughout our whole lives. And we are taught about a hierarchy system.
And the whole thing is, if you really look at the entire Bible, none of it's supposed to be a hierarchy system except for God. But it is, because it's written into the stories, they can say, yes, it is. Does that make sense? Because it's like, well.
Wait, no, there is a hierarchy system in the whole Bible. The whole Bible is a hierarchy system.
Right. But what they say is the only hierarchy you're supposed to be is God above you. That's what they say. But if you read the whole Bible, that's not how it is.
Wait, don't they
That's
tell
not
you
how it
men
is.
and then God? Because for me, it was men,
course,
then
of course.
God. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure it's children. It's
Men.
It's animals, children, women, men, God. That's
Yep.
hierarchy.
I mean, we weren't literally given that, but they acted that way. Does that make sense? Like, women were.
Okay, well, we were taught the Bible verse that tells you that it's God, men, and then women. There's that
That's
Bible
terrible.
verse.
Oh my gosh.
Here, I'll
that's
read
terrible.
it to you. It tells you in the
Oh,
Bible.
God.
Yeah.
No, they would
Can
just
I
say
get the
things
Bible
like,
verse that says that God is the head of the man and man is the head of the women, or whatever? You guys, if you're friendly, Dr. Joe, hi, good to see you. Lathe, welcome in. Any of my friendlies want to come up and chat? hopefully we'll talk to some believers today. If you're a believer of God, of the Bible, and you want to talk today and tell me why I should trust the Bible, I'd like to know, because I'm starting to feel like I shouldn't. Okay, it's in 1 Corinthians 11:3. It says, but I want you to understand that Christ is the head of every man, and the husband is the head of his wife, and God is the head of Christ.
Okay. I mean, they would say that, the husband or the wife must be submissive to the husband, but then they had 1,000 different definitions of what submission meant. But that's totally different there.
Yeah, there's even Bible verses that say that if you, like if a woman makes a vow, she has to like if her husband or her dad, her husband or dad doesn't like it, he could just take away the vow, even if it's to God.
Right.
So even our words don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Lade, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, thanks. You just
Well,
get
I'm going to
started.
let you all talk, and I will talk to you later. And thank you for that.
Okay,
That was
Grandma.
so beautiful, Crystal. So beautiful.
You're welcome. And by the way, if you're in my Discord, all my anti-sermons are in my Discord in a document format. Yeah, I just got started. I started about an hour ago, but I did my little anti-sermon already. And we talked to one crash out.
I've heard about
he was
3
an
crash outs
anti-Semite.
this morning on 3 different panels.
Oh, yeah, it's been a crash out morning, I guess, everywhere, huh? Because I was listening this morning too. There were quite a few crash outs going on.
Yeah, there was one guy called Word who was, I don't know. I don't even know. It was something about the fall and eating of the apple, and I would read him the verse, and he's like, that's not what that means, and I just gave up.
And that's why I want to know, why should I trust the Bible? Because that's what they tell us, right? That's not what that means. So then why trust it at all? If none of it means anything, then why do we read it? Nothing means anything.
Yeah.
Bread! You guys, welcome in Bread. Welcome in Lilith. I'm going to scroll. Fullest, welcome in. Welcome in, Dr. Joe, Silly Goose, Elizabeth Buddy, Sunny, Shadow, Oppo.
Everyone
Thank
can
you,
feel that
Oppo.
you're live and they're coming over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That one was a hard one for me to write too, about Sarah, because I really fucking hate Sarah. And I think that you're taught to love her as a Christian. I don't know how I felt about her as a Christian. I know what I was taught to feel about her as a Christian. But I think that I always questioned a lot of the whole story of Sarah. Like, I was like, what do you mean she was like 100 and she was fucking beautiful, so much so that, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
really
be
hot,
mean.
like nursing home 9-year-old women. Pharaoh really wants them
What are you
all up on
talking
them.
about?
What I liked is that God
my
punished
God.
Pharaoh because they lied. It's like, that's not
Right?
fair.
He punishes Amalek too, or whatever, right? Like, we lie and you get punished, and then Abraham just gets richer and richer every time he does it, right? You know, so he's like, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna do this again.
Yeah,
Oppo, it's in my Discord if you want to read it. I can't, you guys, I'm actually not a writer, so I don't know how to format things. So it's written in this format that I have my AI editing thing set up so I could read it as a sermon. So, like, sometimes it's just one sentence paragraph so that I know to, like, punctuate that sentence when I'm reading it. But anyway,
to let you know when to emphasize shit.
yeah, it's because I'm writing it for me to read it, right? So it's kind of it's weirdly formatted, but some people like it. Actually, they're like, it made it easier for them to read it that way. But yeah, they're all in my Discord. We're going woman by woman through the Bible, not just the named women though. We're checking them all out.
Well, if you only did the named women, that wouldn't be very many.
It wouldn't. It's under 5% of the Bible are named women, so that wouldn't be very many women at all.
Yep. The wife of, the daughter of, all that stuff.
Yep.
It's really annoying to have to say, what about like Jephthah's daughter? And it's like, why can't I say her name? Oh, because we don't know it.
Right?
Like, it's so annoying
What
that I
about
have to reference the man.
the women on Noah's Ark? Oh, all the mothers of all humanity. Oh, we don't have names for them? The fuck? We do in the Ethiopian Bible. We learned that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in the Ethiopian Bible, all 3 of the women have names. Or
Including Noah's
is
wife?
it four
Oh,
women?
okay.
Yeah, Noah's wife has a name too. Hers is Zara. I remember hers. I don't. The other 3 are
one.
very hard for me to even pronounce because they're from the ancient language Ge'ez, the Ethiopian language.
Wasn't Ham's
Ge'ez.
wife Egyptus or something like that? Or is that a Mormon thing? No, I can't remember.
I think that might be a Mormon
That
thing.
might be a Mormon thing. It's so
Yeah.
hard to keep the bullshit straight, Crystal.
I know. Let me see if I. Oh no, I don't know if I do. Oh wait, maybe I do. What are their
I like that
wives'
the Bible
names?
starts out with God created a man, and then made a woman, and then doesn't name them until after the fall. And then we get Adam, Eve, and then we get Cain and Abel, and then the writer of the Old Testament, the writer of Genesis was like, fuck it, we're not going to name every person that's born. Just skip a few.
Yeah, let's just skip a few. This is getting boring even for us. Imagine the poor assholes who have to read this in 2025.
Right?
Uh,
Chronicles are usually, if you're trying to read the Bible like in order, First and Second Chronicles is usually when people really give up. That's like the they talk about when you run, you hit that wall. If you can get through the Chronicles, you can probably keep going. But those are hard, boring, genealogical shit. But
Hey Tiffany, this is how I run my lives. I'm live for 3 hours Monday through Friday. On Wednesdays I do non-believers Bible study first. But if nobody shows up, we hang out, we talk, we have conversations, but usually we get a few believers in and out of the live. I don't like to restart my lives too often, so I try not to do that because I'm streaming over on YouTube at the same time. But you have to not worry about whether somebody shows up to talk about it. Maybe have a couple of backdrops because like I do have other ones for when people don't show up. Let me see. Why can't I get to my background anymore? This is so weird. Okay, there we go.
yeah, Tiffy, I just randomly decided that I was going to go live too. So I did my 3 things that I had to. And then I just went live, and I actually just took the Bible and read my favorite verses, which are not Christians' favorite verses. Yeah, so I just did that.
And then, so I also just make different backgrounds so I can change. Oh no, Tris, I'm sorry. Hey, Calm, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, 35. How's it going?
Oh, going
What's up?
well. Are you a
Calm.
believer of the God of the Bible?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And did you want to talk about the topic I had up a second ago or this one? They're similar, but which one did you want to talk about?
Book of Claims. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I didn't really have any specific thing I wanted to talk about, but I just wanted to have a discussion and see where it goes.
Okay. Well, I'm really just wondering, like, I hear Christians tell me all the time I should trust the Bible, but then in the same breath, they tell me that the words that I'm reading don't mean what they say, that the contradictions I see aren't actual contradictions because whatever they come up with at that time, that I need to understand this was written 2,000 years ago, that I need to understand that I don't know, there's a million translations. And I just think that that makes this all the more reason not to trust this story at all.
Sure, I definitely understand why you would say it's something you should think critically about, and I totally agree with you on that. But I would say there is something to be said that you have to use your reason when you're analyzing the Bible, and if it is true, then it's kind of an underlying thing that you need the Holy Spirit to interpret it properly. So that's why I think you get a lot of, misinterpretations and stuff. But if it's not true, I mean, you should still think about it critically. I don't see why we would take any truth claim about life or worldview and not think critically about it.
So, if the God of the Bible inspired the word that is now the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and he inspired it. And that is what he wants people to use to know who he is. Why would he make it so you have to use a magic decoder ring in order to understand it?
Well, I don't think. I mean, the fact that I can access some of its knowledge and wisdom, I don't think you need a magic decoder ring. I think you should just be looking at it honestly, and I will grant you there is something about it requiring faith. So I don't know if you're familiar with heretics at all, but there is something to this idea that things we look for, that's what we find. So it's like the idea of when you buy a new, say, white truck, and then all of a sudden you see on the road, there's all these white trucks. It's not that they weren't there the day before. It's just that now it's in the forefront of your consciousness, and now you're observing it. So there is something to the idea of what you seek, you find.
So if I'm seeking the truth and I find it, why isn't it good enough? Like, for instance, let's just turn to one of the many tabs I have in my Bible, okay? I'm just going to pick a random one. I'm just going to go to... I do. This is... Harm makes God happy. That's the tab that we're going to, okay? And it's a Bible verse that, to me, shows God actually happy when harm happens. And to me, that's contradictory to what I was taught that God was. So we're going to read in Deuteronomy 28, verse 63. I'm in the New Revised Standard Edition. And just as the Lord took delight in making you prosperous and numerous. I'm sorry, what? Okay, I'll try again.
Oh, I was just saying thank you. I was going to ask.
Oh, okay. And just as the Lord took delight in making you prosperous and numerous, so the Lord will take delight in bringing you to ruin and destruction. You shall be plucked off the land that you are entering to possess. When I look at God, I often look at him as a father figure because he's presented to me as a father figure repeatedly throughout the Bible. So it's not a jump to be looking to him as a father figure. In all my times, that was Deuteronomy 28:63. In all my time as a mother, I have never delighted in anything that has happened that was bad for my children, even when it was something to teach them a lesson. There was no delight in it for me. I did not enjoy seeing my children suffer, be punished, or learn a tough lesson.
Sure, no, and I
he should be
totally
better than me.
That, but
he
now
should be
he
should be better than me. He should be, because he's God. He should be better than me.
Sure, no, I totally agree. And just as a side note, I do find it interesting that most of the issues we have with God do seem to boil down to emotional, moral issues, which under a materialistic or naturalistic worldview don't exist. So
That's not true.
I just find that kind
Just
of
for you
ironic,
to
but-
assume that people don't have morals because we don't derive our subjective morals from the same place you derive your subjective morals doesn't mean we don't have morals. That is a very rude thing to say.
I never
and
said
you're
you-
absolutely incorrect in saying
let me
such
clarify.
that is exactly what you just said. You said that we don't have a moral view.
No. Let me clarify.
You were
then, 'cause
implying
I could,
that-
I
that
can see how
we don't
you
have
might
morals.
think that. No. Then that's not at all true. Let me clarify. So what I'm saying
Okay,
is
let's
morals
clarify because
do
that's
not
what it
exist.
sounded like.
I said
Right.
under a
Morals
naturalistic
are
framework,
subjective.
Morals do
Morals
not exist.
are subjective.
Exactly.
Morals are subjective.
So they
Right.
so I'm not implying that you don't have them. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
they ultimately don't exist. And yet these
Oh, even
emotional arguments
with
do
a
seem to
God.
be a bedrock.
So
of
even
our-
with a God, there are no morals.
Well, that's not true, and I already have an idea of how you're going to frame this, but I would ground morality in God's nature.
Okay, so
things
you are
good
saying we don't
because
have
God's good,
morals.
not because
So you fucking just lied.
No,
you
I'm not.
fucking just lied.
No,
you
I'm not.
just said that you
No.
weren't saying that you have morals and I don't. Then you just fucking said you do have
That's
morals
not-
because yours are grounded in objective morality through God, which is subjective, by the way, because if they come from a mind, that's what makes them subjective. So make up your mind. Do we as non-believers have morals or not?
Well, I apologize for the confusion. Yes, it's entirely possible for there to be.
We have subjective morals, and so do you.
It's not required that you believe a God in order to have morals. I'm saying in
We all
order for
have
morals
subjective morals.
to exist, there has to be a God.
That's not true.
Yes, but
there has to be humans.
Like you just said,
there has to be humans. So are yours. Yours are just subjected to your God. That's what subjective means. A subject creates the morals. Your subject is God. My subject is a brain. That's what subjective means.
Well, no, okay, so I can see how this is a very confusing line of.
It's not. It's
line of,
obviously very confusing for you
analysis.
because you don't know what subjective and objective mean.
Well,
Objective means mind
objective
independent.
is mind independent. Mind independent.
Right,
Okay,
and God
okay,
is a
yeah.
mind, pumpkin.
So I
God
get
is
that.
a mind, so that means subjective.
But you're not. But you're not. It all depends on how it's grounded. So if so, look, this is an age-old question: is something good because God commands it, or does God command it because it's good? And that's a false dichotomy. Neither of those are true.
And that's not what we're talking about.
God commands
You're
it
saying
because He
that you
is
have
good.
objective morality, even though nobody does. You can't show me objective morality. It doesn't exist on this earth. All of us use subjective morality. That's how it works. Even if you think that you get your morals from God, that's a subject. That's subjective morality. And the fact that you're arguing is ridiculous. Your God did something heinous and you're pivoting away from it by doing objective morality instead of going, wow, that's really fucked up that he celebrates when we suffer.
Well, actually,
Why don't you address that?
All right, so you're right. Maybe
Why don't you
we
address
should just.
that?
I will address that, but maybe we should just pivot because I think we've gotten as far as we can with that.
You haven't even talked about
Here's
this.
the thing. So he says. So he says that he delights
I am
in
so
the downfall,
conceited.
and
That's pretty fucked up.
so
For an all-loving
So here's the thing.
God. All-loving.
do you think it's good that, let's say, do you have children or?
She just said she did.
Oh,
He's not listening
well, I'm sorry. I was
to anything
I
we're
can,
saying.
I can get tunnel vision, so I do apologize. But so when a child, sometimes in order to learn, they have to fail.
You really didn't hear anything I said about my children, did you? You didn't hear anything I said about my children, did you?
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay, then why don't you be quiet for a minute and I'll say it again.
I apologize.
I said that I am a mother and I look at God as a father because he's talked about as a father throughout the Bible. Okay? And I have never in my life delighted in the downfall of my children, even if it was because they were learning a lesson. And you didn't listen to any of that, and you come at me and go, I'm going to go right to the father analogy as if I didn't say that whole conversation to you. That's very disrespectful.
Oh, okay. No,
and I'm being called disrespectful in the chat because
Yeah.
I'm offended by your disrespect.
Well, I apologize if I don't know how I was being disrespectful, but I do apologize.
By not listening
for it
to anything
'cause
I said?
Forgot what you said.
You didn't listen to anything I said.
You're saying
and
I've
you
listened
should just,
to nothing you've said?
oh my God, that whole story I told about my child, you didn't listen to any of it.
Well, once you mentioned it, I remembered it. It wasn't in the forefront of my thought because of what we were previously talking about. And it is hard for me to track with everything when you jump around on a million different topics.
I've been trying to fucking
I
stay
am
here.
honestly
You're the
trying to
one who
address them.
jumped. You really jumped. You're the one who went off on objective morality when I was right here in Deuteronomy 28:63. I was right here talking about my children and how it relates to the story. You went off somewhere and now you're blaming me for that. Don't gaslight me, sir. I don't play these games.
So, all right, back on topic. So do you think there is in no scenario could you delight in the downfall of someone so that they could learn a lesson?
Oh my God. Fuck no. What the fuck, dude?
The
No,
downfall?
especially my own children. What the fuck are you talking about? No.
So-
you know what I do when somebody
so
I love
let's
has
say-
to face something like that? I go, hey, you know what? This really sucks. Let's figure this out together. What can we
So
do?
let's say a schmurderer
Let's do this.
goes to jail. So let's say
A schmurder's not my child or somebody I love. Calm. I want you to address that this is his children.
But there are...
These are people he says he loves.
Hold on,
You're
there-
not
there-
addressing that. You're trying to make it so they're now not people he loves.
You're getting really emotional about this. All right, so every
Oh
schmurderer
my God.
is someone's
Fuck off with your
son or daughter,
emotional,
right?
you misogynistic cunt. Get the fuck out of here. I put up with you not fucking paying attention to anything I'm saying. I put up with you fucking literally actually repeating the story I said. And then not addressing this, going off on a tangent, then blaming me and gaslighting me. And then you're gonna fucking tell me that I'm emotional? Fuck off. Oh my God. I'm not in the mood this morning. I'm sorry, you guys. Dark Crystal came out early. Biblical, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
I am 39.
Are you?
Biblical.
Oh, are you a believer?
No, I'm actually an anti-theist. I'm actually a biblical historian.
Oh, nice. Very nice to meet
He's
you.
around our community a lot, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
I like running around and supporting people and giving and kind of giving people context and nuance and help.
Very cool. I like that. Did you have anything you wanted to add already, or just hanging out?
I actually wanted to congratulate you on doing a bang up job on this live. You got like 46 people in here. I don't know how many views you've had or anything, or what your gift goal or anything is sitting at, but
Hey, Slay, if you want to come up, you can come up.
Richard's down there chomping at the bit.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what kind of juice I could tell you that you guys probably don't already know.
I'll tell you what someone was saying
did
to
you
me
guys know
earlier.
Do what?
I said I can tell you what someone was saying earlier about Genesis real quick.
Sure.
They were saying they were arguing about the fall and the fruit and all that stuff, and they were saying that the whole die thing, like unalive thing on the very day that you eat it and then you don't. They were trying to say that humans would have lived forever, and so when we ate of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, that made us unalive, and wouldn't listen to the fact that there was the tree of life. It was pretty wild. I actually thought it'd be biblical.
Hey, you guys, we're going to welcome a couple people really quick up. If you'll give me just 1 second. Biblical Schley the day. Hi, sweetie. How are you today?
Hi, my dear. Good
to see you.
I'm just gonna say hello. I'm not gonna say how I am.
Okay. You don't have to, but I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Richard, Mama Bash, welcome back. Richard, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, hey. Excuse me. I'm 36.
Okay, and are you a believer of the God of the Bible?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was
Richard's
previously.
friendly.
Yeah. I was a Southern Baptist until I was 22, and I am currently very much an atheist.
Hey, Crystal, there's eating out of my grandpa's ear is spamming in the chat, by the way.
Can one of my mods take care of eating out of whatever the fuck? Can you please move the background up? Send so.
I don't know if you have any mods in
I can't
here.
move the background. I can move a little bit, and I can probably raise my tripod, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'll just.
Hey, Crystal, and if you want room for opposition, you can kick me, no problem.
Okay, I might need that right now. I don't have options in the chat, but if you are in opposition, you want to come up today, we're just talking about the Bible. I had 2 questions today. One is, why should I trust the Bible? And one is just basically a statement. The Bible is just a book of claims. Like, that's all it is. There is nothing that backs any of those claims up. And if you want to talk about that, then come on up. I'd like to hear about how some of these Bible claims may be backed up with something other than the Bible, if you will.
That's always the best. How do you know God loves us? Well, in the Bible. No. Well, how do you know that the Tower of Babel happened? Well, it says in the Bible. No.
Sonny, I'm doing that right now because you know what? I did not know that you were a mod, because you should be. Well, I don't think I'm completely modest. Sometimes my friends are mods and they don't remember that they're a mod. Because we mod for so many, we forget who we mod for and who we don't. And sometimes they're, oh yeah, I am a mod.
That's funny. I've done that before. I've been sitting like this person is so annoying, and I'm like, oh, I have mod powers.
I know, I've done that too. I'm like, oh wait, what am I doing? I can handle this. There was one time where Joel was live and he was like, one of my mods is gonna like kick you off, but we don't normally like kick people off his Joel
doesn't
panel.
really kick people.
Yeah. And so I was so happy to get to
You got to
that
do it
guy, like
finally.
block him. I got to be the one. He was like, yes, do that. And
That's
that
so
was
great.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I listen to on Joel and Mezzo, and I'm like, okay, I'm so glad y'all are patient, but Jesus fucking Christ, please can someone kick this person?
Oh yeah, they're doing a little content farming now and then when they do that, and it's good because it shows people what complete, really utter assholes these people are.
Yeah. I like to walk down the road with usually Christians. I'll be like, okay, I'll walk down this road with you. What are you talking about? And you're like, this sounds nutty. Everyone else hearing this?
Yeah, I think that's the point, right? Is to highlight how asinine or wild or just depraved the worldview or the point that they're trying to make is, or the behavior that they're trying to, display. So I think they're pretty good at that, but it does drive me crazy sometimes. I'm like, please let me block them, please.
Yes. Well, at least they're funny.
I know.
At least they're funny about it. If they can do it and they're being funny, I'm like, all right, I'm entertained, not just annoyed.
Yeah.
Right. it serves a purpose.
I like when they do turn around and the person thinks, haha, look at all those people in chat trying to tell them about how horrible I am. Haha. And then all of a sudden just Mezzo turns it around like, so you're a fucking bigot, huh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yay!
Oh, I like it when Joel writes the stuff down. When he's like, it's okay to murder children because they went to heaven. Okay, I got that.
Got that one. Tahir. Welcome back, Tahir. The whole party's here. Clara's in chat today too. Soy sauce in chat. Also, you guys, we have great chat today. Love it if we could get a believer. And if you are a believer and you feel intimidated by this panel, don't worry. They will all be on their best behavior. Come on up. I just want to talk about either why I should trust the Bible. Red-headed Elizabeth is here as well. Brett is in the house. If you want to talk about the Bible, why I should trust it, about its claims, give us this day our daily bread. Yeah, so come on up, hang out. Godless Pianist is in the house.
Godless Pianist. That's a really good name. That's a really good username. I love it.
Yeah, he goes live too. I think he was on the Secular Perspective with Joyful not very long ago too.
Oh, I'm going to be on that with Joyful on, when is it? The 1st.
That's awesome. I will be on the show on the 29th, and then I should be on regularly every now and then. As one of the regular rotating hosts and co-hosts. Actually,
I know I saw the commercial. Not the commercial, whatever the right word is.
The commercial. It is a commercial, really. But I heard rumor, you guys, the Born Again Atheists and I are going to team up on that show. Somebody told me that. Fuck yeah. We just don't have our date yet. You know what? It's because my grandson won't come out. Will you guys all just do some atheisms today that baby shows up soon?
Atheisms.
That baby is cooking good.
Okay, so the funny thing was he wanted out so bad that he tried to come out on Thanksgiving, and then we thought he would be born like somewhere after that, obviously somewhere after that, but shortly after that. And then he stuck in this whole time.
He's like, you know what? Never mind. I'm happy in here.
He's heard you arguing with people, and he's like, no, I don't want to go out there.
Oh,
no, he never gets to hear
that. Doesn't he have a big sister already that can tell him all about how great of a Grammy? What do they call you?
Well, I'm trying to get him to call me Zsa because, okay, so you guys, when I was a little girl, I loved Zsa Gabor and her sister Eva Gabor, but I really love Zsa because who doesn't like the fucking name Zsa? What a cool name, is it, right? And I always wished... She's awesome. She was. Anyway, I, was like, I want to be named Zsa. Why isn't my name Zsa? Like, obviously, my parents made a very horrible mistake.
Terrible mistake.
So one day I realized when you're a grandma, you get to pick your name. You don't have to be called grandma anymore. That's not the thing anymore. And I was like, I want to be called Zsa. And my daughter-in-law, she's like, hell yeah, you're Zsa now. My son is like, no, you're not. You're grandma. That's your grandma. He's like, I'm not having any of this. He's so funny. He's like, nope, you're grandma.
It's easier for them to say stuff like that when they're little.
I still tell her, I'm Zsa. So she's gonna call me Zsa. I'm gonna get a
Make
shirt
it happen.
that says Zsa.
Manifest that.
I'm gonna manifest that, and I'm gonna bribe her because that's what grandmas do, right?
Yes.
I'm not stupid. I have all of the power here. He has no idea.
My niece call me Tata, so I'm Tata Schley.
Tata Schley. That's
this
like
is
Tata
the holy
Schley and
Doug in the
Jaja.
background.
Tata and Jaja.
That's right.
Oh, hey.
He's gonna go get us lunch. Yum.
My son was
Doug.
born. My mom was like, I always threaten, you're going to be grandma. And she's like, no, I will not be grandma. Her name's Joyce. And so she's Joey. She insisted upon it.
I like that.
Is she grandma?
I
or
know
is she
grandma just
Joey?
feels old.
No, she's Joey.
Oh. See, I guess my I don't know how we got on this subject. Sorry. I had my grandmother named my mom the same name, and I would call my grandma like grandma and then my mom's name. Her name's Vernon. I don't know why I'm being coy. Anyway, and then when I had my first kid, I was like, oh, and this is, I was like, yeah, and Mom, you're gonna be Grandma. Oh no, you can't be Grandma Vernon. Oh no, we can't do that. We'll have to choose a different name.
Doug is Opa because he's German descent, so he likes Opa and Oma. But I don't want to be called Oma either. I don't want to. I want to be Jaja. It's cool
Jaja.
and it's unique. And I finally get to be Jaja Gabor. And I think that
I really want to be
my
old man.
I finally get to live out my childhood dream. Every once in a while, when you just have an epiphany that you get to do something that you were always told like you weren't allowed to do or weren't supposed to, it is the best feeling, right? Like that's the best feeling. I remember
have a really funny story about that. Sorry.
Okay, I'll tell you mine and then you tell me yours. Okay, I remember when I first had my first apartment, I was doing some grocery shopping or something. And when I got home, I had bought some chocolate chips to make some cookies. And I remembered that I was never allowed to eat any of those chocolate chips when I was a kid. And I was like, oh my God, I can just eat a bag of chocolate chips now if I want. It was such an epiphany. I don't have to save these for a special thing. Anyway, what was yours? Yeah, I'm an adult. I can act like a child. Isn't that what adulting is about, really?
Exactly.
It's permission
I'm a millennial.
to act like a child.
We refuse to grow up not doing it.
I'm Gen X. I don't think we grow up either.
It's good. It's fine. I think, you know what? The boomers want to be in charge of everything. Sure. I'm going to go play on my Game Boy. Whatever. When I first got married and when I was growing up, my mother's very cheap. And we had to keep the house at 78 degrees all the time. And I was always so hot. And whenever we first got married, I was in bed in our new place. And I was like, oh, I'm so hot. And my husband said, well, go turn the air conditioning down. And I was about to say, I can't. My parents won't let me. And I said, I'm 25, right? Grown-ass woman. And I said, and then I kind of went, I'm going to go turn down the air conditioning. And I got up and I went over and I turned it down. And then I looked over at my husband and then I turned it down 2 more degrees.
Oh my God, that probably felt so good.
Oh yeah, that was at least
Literal
3 therapy sessions saved.
The little things. I love that.
I keep mine at 69. And I've been doing it, since I moved out when I was 18. It's no, I'm a grown person.
Yeah, they come here and they're like, it's too cold. They're like, it's too cold.
My mom will come and visit, and she'll be like, oh, you keep it cold. No, I keep it normal.
Yeah, 78 degrees in Texas, Richard, as you know.
Is
never.
That's about what my room was growing up.
We interrupt this broadcast with a special message.
I'm sorry, what?
Deluxe chili cheese fries and a quesadilla.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Ooh.
I want a quesadilla too, Doug. Thanks.
Okay, a
Yeah, me too.
quesadilla okay, make it 3.
3 quesadillas.
Wait, you guys, can you put your orders in real quick? We're doing a Del Taco run, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
getting a cheese quesadilla and deluxe chili cheddar fries. You let us know what you want, and Doug will go get it. Okay?
And just put the money in her account.
Put the money in my account, you said.
Yeah, I can just send it directly to you.
Just Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. They're all on my link tree. You can just hit
Thanks,
me
Doug.
There might be
He'll bring the food right here.
There might be an out of area extra service charge. Depending.
Yeah, you'll have to come pick up the food from my house, and I don't know if my address is available to you, so you'll just have to figure
Just
that
get
out.
us a P.O. box. We'll send it over.
Okay, yeah, Doug says give us a P.O. box. We'll send that right over.
Oh God. Imagine a P.O.
Yeah.
box of quesadillas. Ew.
If they're fresh, I'd be okay with that. If
Yeah,
they
that would
were
be a great
fresh.
surprise. See, BS, we're not scary. We're laughing. We have a good time.
I never have a good time. I'm an atheist.
Shut up, Richard.
We were having a good time last night sharing stories about like silly little crimes that we did when we were kids. And we say they're crimes, but most of us were like committing like, I don't know, just the most basic things. Like I stole money from my mom's purse and then tried to buy the entire lunch line ice cream.
That's the sweetest crime.
At school.
Oh, and
And-
I just made a
Oh
pun.
my god.
It got out of hand because I told my friend, which was my first mistake. And then I was like, but don't tell anybody. And of course, she told the person next to her, but then said, don't tell anybody. Next thing I know, the entire lunch line is like, can you buy us one? And then I got in trouble. But yeah.
That's so adorable. That's the most wholesome stealing of your parents' money I've ever heard.
That is really
Wanted
sweet.
to share my crime, my loot, you know.
Oh, now you made me think of a sad story.
No, not this one.
I'm actually not going to make you cry or anything, but my mom was my aunt. In case you don't know this from previous stories, my mom was my aunt. Okay, but my mom wasn't much better, so I don't even know why I distinguish that anymore. They were both not very good people. Anyway, they played bridge back in the day. I don't know if you all know what bridge is.
Yes.
Okay,
This
and
is
I
the
don't
old
know if
school
you know how
cupcake phase.
serious bridge people are, but bridge people are real serious, okay?
Yes.
And so my mom was having a bridge night at our house, and I'm just a kid, right? Like, I'm just a kid. I don't know what fucking shit is. I don't know anything. I'm little. I'm like maybe 6 or 7. And so bridge has tally cards and like back in the day when you would hold a bridge night, you would go like to Hallmark and buy special little cool tally cards for all the little bridge guests that were coming over to play your freaking bridge, you know? Probably similar to what like Bunko people probably have similar things that they could buy, you know, that make it all fancy or something. I didn't know. It looked like cute stationery to me, so I took one. So she didn't have enough when the guests arrived. My mom got pissed. So that was my crime. That was, and I probably never did a damn thing like that again. I will tell you because she was pissed. I took one of them tally cards and I drew all
That's a
over
good
it.
one. Biblical, do you have one? Tell us your old crimes. Or you, Richard. I'm being very demanding. Sorry, Crystal.
That's okay. You guys keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live, doing all the good things. I will be here for another hour unless we reach our gift goal, in which we'll stay for an extra hour. If you are a believer of the God of the Bible, or you believe the Bible, I just want to talk about how it's a book of claims, or we can even talk about how I don't trust it and I don't know why I should. And I want to know why you think I should. So do you have a crime, Richard?
Which one? Yeah, we used to go into the house I lived in. It was kind of in a newer development area, and so they were building a bunch of houses. So we used to always go into the construction sites, you know, after the workers went home, and we'd do some insane things there. I mean, we did it all. I used to be a klepto.
I used to shoplift when I was a kid. We were big time shoplifting gang. There was like 3 of us, that all looked like me.
We used to
Oh my
have
God.
competitions for.
We would go.
You
expensive.
the
We would
original
go to.
ring.
Do you know what? Do you know what Big Lots is? You know what
Yes.
Big Lots is?
Oh yeah.
Before it was Big Lots, it was called Pick and Save. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh
But
yeah.
it was, and it was just as cheap and crappy, maybe even cheaper and crappier, than it is now. And we would go in there, and then we would see like how much we could get, and then we would go to Cypress College, and we also smoked probably like really young, like at a ridiculously young age. It was the fucking 70s, okay? What do you want from me? 70s and 80s. So we would go hang out at Cypress College, smoking cigarettes and sharing like our haul, and it was stupid shit. Like it was like Hello Kitty keychains and stickers, and I don't know. It was nothing. It was all such dumb crap from Big Lots.
I mean,
We
yeah.
used to see how much, like, the person that came out with the most expensive haul won.
Oh my gosh, I'm
We
so
would tra-
boring.
we
I
would
didn't
tell-
do any of this shit. Schley, are you boring like me, or are you like a
Yeah.
professional shoplifter?
I
With
was
them?
I was too afraid to ever do anything wrong. Like I was so scared to to try anything, to do anything that could get me in trouble. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, me neither.
And it may have stemmed from my third grade trying to buy everybody ice cream and getting in.
That's what happened.
That was the only thing. And then they were like, they got me good. They instilled the fear.
Nice.
So
I was Gen
I'm-
X. So
Yeah.
being Gen X, I was feral. Okay, like our parents didn't know
Yep.
where the fuck we were,
You
and
know
that
where
was
your
on
children
them.
are?
Exactly, you guys, they didn't know where we were, and
didn't know.
it wasn't because they didn't want to know. They did not want us around until later at night. Like, do not fucking come
Yeah.
home. I actually don't want to see you all day. It wasn't like
would get locked
"Where
out of the
are you
house."
gone again, Crystal? I did too. It was
my
like, get the
God.
fuck
Yeah.
out of here, go away all day, and then come back much later. So of course
Yeah.
we were out doing things we shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
because we had no parental guidance.
Yeah, and the parental guidance we got was shitty.
It was really shitty.
That's
So
so funny.
my shoplifting didn't quite end when I was a teenager. So for
You
my
just shoplifted, didn't you, Richard? You
no,
just
no, no.
did it.
I've
Oh my
pretty
God,
much
you're
not-
stealing from yourself right now, aren't you?
Where did you get that?
I pretty.
Be honest.
I mean, I'm fucking almost 37, so I don't need to. Like, I'm good. I don't need to shoplift. Like,
it's about the thrill.
sometimes
Anyway,
for the
sorry.
rush. No, I'm just. No. So for my 25th birthday, this is all alleged. None of this actually happened. It's just a story. But like for my 25th birthday, so we went to. I was having a big old party, and I wanted sushi. I love sushi, right? And so I ordered like a shit ton of the big platters from HEB from the grocery store, and they had like
I'm
their
gonna
own
mute
little
you,
sushi
biblical.
section.
It sounds like you're in an Uber or something. Sorry. Go ahead, Richard.
Anyway, I ordered it like a month in advance. I'm like, I want all this. It was like $250 worth of sushi, right? That I was getting for the party. And when the day came of the party, and I went to pick it up, and I went to check out, and the guy, you go up to the sushi counter and they give it to you, and then you go to check out. And I was like, I'm good. It looks like I'm just gonna try to walk out, and so I did.
Did they
And
catch you?
there were no, huh?
Did they catch you?
No.
Jesus.
That's the end of the story. There's.
I think I stole like a pencil from like a doctor's office one time. Like that's like the most I can think of. Fucking $250 like heist of the century, Richard over here for his birthday.
Well,
What's
like,
the statute
I could
of
pay for this,
limitations on embezzlement? I'm sorry.
Listen,
on how much
that
it
was
is.
all just a story I made up. It didn't actually happen.
I'll
Yeah.
make up a story too, okay? Let me make up a
Okay,
story too. Here's a
All
story
right.
I'm gonna make up about time I worked at a casino.
Oh God. Maybe don't tell that one.
And it was so long ago, I don't even know if the casino exists anymore. But anyway, in this particular casino, I was a waitress, and I learned this from the other waitresses. So everybody did this little trick. You would get these Okay, so you get a couple of different things. One, you would get these coupons for where it would buy a person like an entree, a drink, and a dessert or something like that. But they would come in and just order like a coffee and a dessert, and then they would pay cash. And then I would I would keep the cash, and then I would use one of the coupons that I found around town for my same casino. And then there was another one that would comp the whole meal, and then they would pay cash and not realize that the whole meal was comped. And so I would keep the cash. And this is comped. Because they're drunk in a casino.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
A lot of times they would also do this really cool thing was they would get really drunk at a bar, play a lot of money at the bar, and then they would get up and walk away from that bar. And when you're an employee of the casino, you weren't allowed to do anything of it. But if you were off duty that day and you weren't working, so whenever I was off duty, I do this one particular bar that people love to do that at. And they would, especially if they hit like a 4 of a kind, it only paid out so much because that was back when it spit out the coins, you know, it didn't have the little paper that you get now. And so they would grab all the coins they got, but what they wouldn't see is that you had to call an attendant to get the rest of the money. So I would just sit down in the seat and then call over the attendant and get the rest of their money.
That's not a crime. No, it's not. That's not a crime. That's a loophole that you capitalized on.
I love it, but you're so bad. I'm so jealous I didn't think of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you'd be silly not to take advantage of that.
I don't know. I couldn't. That makes me like just thinking about doing that just gave me like a pit in my stomach. My anxiety is way too high to ever do anything.
I'd be too shifty. I'd be like looking for anyone and everyone who was watching me. I'd be like too paranoid.
No, see, and that's how you get caught. You look suspicious.
Right.
That's what's saying I don't do it.
The problem was that there was nobody to look at me when I'm cashing out my customers, because back then you didn't have cameras on cash registers and things like you do nowadays. As long as that cash register was not short money at the end of the shift, nothing was ever going to happen to me. And I never let that cash register be short. So
of course not.
That wasn't going to happen. But as far as sitting down in a seat, there was nothing illegal about it. What would be illegal is if I was working, I couldn't do it. So sometimes when I was working and I noticed it, I would tell one of my friends. Yeah, I would go, hey,
absolutely.
go to
you split it.
Go get that shit. It's right there. I see it. And I would I taught Doug how to do it too, because then it became and then it became a thing that I could walk through a casino. I don't hang out at casinos, I just worked at them, okay? It became a thing that I could see from across the room if a machine had credits on it and there was nobody sitting there, and I would just be like, oh, we're headed right there. Okay, that machine over there, go get it. So, yeah. It just, we are pattern seeking people, right? That's what we do, right? Join my gang. We're going to be the Gabor sisters. That's the name of my gang.
Oh, that's good. And we all have to pick a new, what are they? What was she? I can't remember what country she was from.
She was Hungarian.
Hungarian. And we all have to choose new Hungarian names when we join the gang.
I'm Vlad. That's more. Yeah. I don't know if Vlad.
It may be illegal in Nevada now, Elizabeth, but it definitely wasn't when I was doing this. It was not illegal. Hi, RXO. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, 35. You actually got my name right. That's what's up.
Oh, cool. Are you a believer of the God of the Bible?
I am.
Well, we were talking about the Bible today. I was talking about two different topics, but they're both kind of similar. One was that why should I trust the Bible? Because I talk to Christians all the time who tell me that, oh, the Bible is really old. Sometimes it's just metaphors. It's been translated a million times, so you can't really, you have to, I don't know, like you have to be special or something. And then the thing is that they also just tell me a bunch of claims that are only found in the Bible. None of it just seems reliable or something that I should believe.
Right, right. Well, I would say that I have no answers for that in a sense of like why you should believe in it or anything like that. I just go off of faith, right? First of all, like, I don't know how to say this. I just find the book extremely fascinating, right? I think that the stories are amazing. I do believe in all of it, but not enough to, and I don't know enough to prove to you. First of all, nothing I say can convince anybody of anything, right? I feel like in life we all have to,
Why?
right? We all have to kind of like find our own
I think
ways.
I can convince people of things. I think that that's what we do. We talk to each other. We bring each other information. We help each other see things from a different perspective, and then we do help people learn something new. And I
Right, but
definitely think people can help change other people's minds.
absolutely, absolutely. But ultimately, it goes down to the person. Like, I mean, like
Sure.
now that we're talking about the Bible. I mean, look at the story between Moses and Pharaoh. God
Mm-hmm.
Himself was showing Moses many, many, many signs, and he's still hard in his heart. He was like, "Nah, like I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing." So at the end of the day, it actually comes down to the person. I mean, like I have a couple atheist friends that we actually get together and talk about these kind of things, and we have healthy conversations about it. And I will present to them a lot of things, like not even like present to them, but just more like, "Hey, let's look this up. Let's look this up," and we'll all look it up together. And no matter what we find, it's still not enough to convince them. So I feel like at the end of the day, you kind of just have to go on your own journey. I mean, many people that discredit the Bible don't even look up like the historicity of it, or like, for example, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why I am fascinated in the Bible is
I
because
study
of,
my Bible.
oh, that's good. That's good.
I
That's
study
good.
the historicity of it. I talk to biblical scholars on a regular basis. Talk to people who have studied the original Hebrew, the original Greek. I talk to Old Testament scholars, New Testament scholars,
That's
and
awesome. What
and
do
what
they
I
say?
just find is that these stories are not true.
None of them.
I mean, there's places that are mentioned that are true, just like in Spider-Man or any other book. There are people who are mentioned who were real people, but the stories themselves are not true. There was never a flood. There was not an exodus. The earth wasn't created, 6 to 8,000 years ago or whatever it is. Jesus didn't walk on water. He didn't make water into wine. People and places might be real. The stories about them were mythology meant for people at the time.
So, and that's the consensus when you talk to all of these,
That's the
scholars and
consensus of the
profession.
people I talk to. But I am trying to talk to Christians and believers and hear from their point of view, because they're the ones who just keep telling me like this stuff is true. But when I ask them to show me the evidence for any of it being true, they can't show me that. And when I show them the anachronisms and contradictions that are in the Bible, they tell me that I'm just wrong, even though it says what it says. Suddenly, words have new definitions, and we just massage the text until we feel comfortable with it.
Right, I get it. It's very hard to believe in something that that you can't see, or you haven't seen. Like, for example, I mean, I've always wondered about I've always believed that ancient, like, aliens and gods are like two sides of the same coin, right? So in my mind, I've always wondered, where are they? Like the aliens, like if they were real. I mean, because one of the things that I've seen in ancient aliens is that, civilizations that had no communication at all were still drawing and talking and writing about beings coming down from the sky. So I wonder, why did that happen? Like, what was going on back then that they were all doing this and none of them knew each other? So what do you think is happening there? Like, I mean, do you believe in aliens?
I would have to read. I don't know whether I believe any aliens have ever come to Earth. I would have to read the stories, do more research, find out if we have any archaeological evidence for any such thing. To my knowledge, we do not. And so I would assume that they haven't been here. Do I believe that there might be life somewhere out in the vast universe? Absolutely. Do I know what that life looks like, or if it's a higher being than us? No, I don't know that.
What about all the historians and all the people that are currently working on this topic? Like they're
Who?
like, I'm saying, like, all the people, like, you don't see them on TV and documentaries, like everyone's talking about
You're
them.
just
Like,
saying all the people, but you're not telling me who.
well, no, I don't know them by name, but if you just look up, like,
I do. I can comment on this, but most of those historians are journalists. They're not historians. They're not scholars. They aren't scientists. They're journalists. And I promise you, if you go look at it, they're authors. They don't have excess knowledge in this. They find it fascinating and go to these places and write about it.
So are there any historians that are actually doing the research and like actually tackling this?
I mean, so you look at, what's his name, Carlson. He's a geologist, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's more of the old Earth theory. He does a lot of work with Graham Hancock, and who is also a journalist and a reporter, not a scientist. But there are a few, sure.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I'm 35 years old, and since I was a kid, I've always seen, like, on TV or on YouTube or something, like documentaries of people studying like ancient civilizations claiming to have been visited by beings. What was that?
It makes great TV.
Okay.
That's interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about, but just, I mean, Game of Thrones is all over TV. It's not real.
I'm not adverse to considering that there are aliens. I believe in aliens before I believe in a supernatural God any day of the week. But I don't see evidence right now that I find conclusive enough to say that they've actually been here, especially ancient ones, because where's the technology? Where's the technology left behind? Like, I also hear that we should have had some kind of ancient superhumans who created, you guys, your food's here. Can you guys come get it? It's like piling up on my desk.
I already stopped at the post office and sent it all out.
Oh, he said he stopped at the post office and sent it all out.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Well, they paid.
Okay, go pick that up. Anyway, there should be things the archaeologists are finding, and I haven't heard of anything. I think that would be national news, unlike real news.
Right, that makes sense.
And there are a lot of claims, and I know what you're talking about. I love ancient alien stuff. It's so fascinating. I don't believe it, but I love researching it and have for years. So if there's a specific one you want to talk about, we can absolutely do that. If
Well, that's cool.
okay.
No, I was just saying, like, like, it's hard to like, on speaking on the Bible, like, I can see why. First of all, I've never been one to get triggered by a non-believer, because at the end of the day, my faith is my faith, so I'm sorry that you deal with that kind of like lashback, that what do you call it, like people coming at you like that. Because,
they lash out a lot.
Yeah. So okay, so kind of going back to it, Jesus. How do you guys feel about Jesus? What is Jesus in your eyes or in your mind?
For me personally,
Yes.
Jesus was probably an amalgamation of many cult leaders of the time who were making claims of divinity. And I don't think it's necessarily that there was one guy. And I think that's why we get a little bit different stories about him. But I don't know if that's true. I just think that no matter what, if there was a Jesus, he didn't do any supernatural shit. None of that happened. It was just common to brag about your gods or your kings or your head, military guys. It was common to say that they did these fantastical things, even though they didn't. There's no evidence for it.
Well, yeah, you can't prove miracles. That's all faith.
You could have had other people write about it who were around at the time, but the only people who write about it are the people in the cult.
So if you look it up, they do say that there are some outside sources outside of the Bible, Romans.
I know. I've looked at them all.
Right. And so that's what I mean. Like, it's not
They're
just
not
the
very
people.
convincing, though.
Let me tell you about some of them, okay? Because I want you to know that they don't say anything that people are saying they say. I'll just go over a few quick notes because people bring this up all the time. There are no writings from Pontius Pilate, Socrates, because people like to bring up, oh, but you believe in Socrates. Socrates had a contemporary who wrote about him. It was Plato. Pliny, in letter 96, book 9, only talks about the Christians. He never talks about Jesus. He has never even heard of them. He never mentions Jesus. And Pliny served under 3 emperors. Christ is a title, not a name. So even when he mentions Christ, it doesn't mean that he's talking about Jesus.
Right.
It was the first one to write about Christ with Christians. Christians are mentioned as early as 36 BCE, not Jesus, just Christians. Paulos is not a first name. Before Paul, it was only a surname. The shroud is from the 1300s. Like, I have so many things. Josephus from Testimonium Flavianum, Antiquities 18.3.3 is an interpolation. Antiquities 20.9.1, Jesus is the son of Damius, not Jesus, the son of Joseph. Suetonius wrote Crestus. I mean, the list can go on and on. It doesn't actually talk about Jesus. There is no outside sources except for the Bible.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll look that up.
Check out the book Christ Before Jesus. It's a really good book that it really goes into it, and it digs into the stellometry too.
Christ Before Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so have any of you guys, are you guys atheists? Like, everyone here is atheist?
I am.
I am, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if everybody is.
So let me ask you guys, what do you think happens when we die? Or, I'm sorry, unalive.
I think that
Bodies decay.
that our heart stops beating and we lose brain function, and because we don't have a brain, we don't have consciousness, we don't have a personality, and that's it. It's like it was before you were born.
And I think that when I die, the whole world is going to stop, and you guys are not going to know how to fucking live without me, okay? That's what I think will happen when I die.
That's what it's going to be like for me, at least. Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that we just cease to exist. And I think that humans have a hard time with that concept because what does it mean? And we have to have meaning in everything. It's okay to just let it be what it is. Like, we had our time. It's limited. We make the most of it. We enjoy each moment for what it is. And then that's it, and it's, in my opinion, in my view, it's less exhausting and daunting, to be frank, because eternity sounds awful, and exhausting. Like, this is enough for me, right?
I used to have anxiety about, when I was a believer, I used to have anxiety about going to heaven and eternity. Like, it would send me into a panic attack because it's like your brain just can't handle it. Anyway, sorry, RXO.
No, you're good. You're good. I love it.
Of death anxiety RXO. Just so you know, I do. I always have. And I think it comes a lot from Christianity and how much it is a death cult, how much death is a focus of the cult. And so because of that, it gave me a lot of anxiety towards death. I don't want to live forever when I really actually conceptualize what forever means, because when you really conceptualize what a million is, it's so much more than what when we just throw it around. But when we conceptualize a billion, we can't actually conceptualize it very well. Our brain starts going, that's too big for me. And then we go forever. And our brain goes, I don't even know what the fuck that means, because everything has an ending, right? And so I used to think I wanted to live forever, but I still had death anxiety, which is weird because I thought I was living forever because I was obviously a really good Christian. I was the best, trust me. So when I started realizing that there wasn't forever, that kind of sunk me into a depression for a little while, because I was like, wait, so I'm not going to see anybody when I die, and oh my God, nobody will think about me ever again, and they'll stop saying my name one day, and nobody will give a shit that I existed. And then I started realizing that's kind of narcissistic. Why do I need people to be thinking about me? What the fuck is wrong with me, right? And then I started thinking, wait, forever is a long time. I have a hard time sometimes, and even being here, even when everything is perfect, like I don't sometimes want to be alive. I sometimes don't. And if I'm going to live forever, there's going to be lots of those days, because it's going to be forever. And suddenly I started realizing, like, why is that such an important part of what I believed, that I would live forever? Why was that such a key point, when in reality, I don't need to live forever. I'm not important enough that I need to be remembered forever. The people who love me, they will think of me. They'll laugh when they remember a joke I told, and they'll smile at, certain little funny inside jokes we had and stuff. But I also don't need them to like think about me all the time, and I don't need anybody to do that. So I don't know. I just started realizing that I'm not as scared of death anymore. I do get sad sometimes when I think about, because I say I will miss everybody, but I won't, because I won't know, because I'll be dead, right? But this me thinks, oh, how sad that one day this will be over. And that's sad, but it's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Like anything else.
So you said that you were like a really, really good Christian. What pushed you away?
I would say that it's not like one thing. It becomes like a little crack in your shell. Like you're in a shell, and then little pieces start to crack away. And over time, you break out of that shell, and you realize that there's like freedom on the other side of not believing in the very things that was taught by the people I trusted most, by my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, my community. These things were taught to me by them since I was too young to understand even vocabulary. These things were instilled in me, and so I believed them wholeheartedly, and I taught them, and I believed with all my heart. But little by little, things come in, and they go, that doesn't sit right with me. A God who loves everybody equally only put 5% of the names as women in the whole Bible. When you really read the Bible, none of those messages are for women. They're all to men. How could he love me equally? That doesn't seem equal. And little things like that, after a while, time and time again, and you'll see my Bible is full of tabs. These tabs are all things that make me go, what? This is not the God that is all loving, all knowing, or all anything.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know the story. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know you do. I'm pretty sure everyone else does. I know that, I believe in the story of Adam and Eve, that he made them equal, right?
A literal Adam and Eve?
Nope.
No, like the Garden of Eden. Yeah, the story of Adam and Eve.
Well, Eve was made as a helpmate, so that's automatically not even.
Yeah.
I have so many issues with the Adam and Eve story. So if you want to get into that, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I'm just saying. Okay, so from my understanding, yes. Well, I understood that that Adam didn't want to be alone. So he gave
No,
him
that's not
a
in the Bible.
partner.
God said it's not good for man to be alone.
Right.
Well, actually, in Genesis 1, he does that. In Genesis chapter 2, the second creation story, he brings all of the animals before Adam, and Adam says, I don't want to fuck any of these. And then God makes Eve.
And also, God wouldn't have a concept. Or, I mean, not God. Adam wouldn't have a concept of alone or together. All he would know. I'm sorry, he wouldn't
Why
have a
was he
concept
alone? He was with God. Why is he
Yeah.
alone? He's with God. He's not alone, really. But here's the thing. In the
Sorry, go ahead.
story of Adam and Eve, I'd actually talk about this. First of all, the Adam and Eve story, we get two different creation stories from 1 to 2. So that's why you're hearing people say, well, in this one it says this and this it says that.
Right.
Eve is definitely, she's not told the story. She is not, God never talks to her and says, by the way, here's what I told Adam and I want you to know the same thing. Boom. That's not equality. Okay. Just so you know, as a woman, I'm telling you that if you have the boss come and tell the man what to do, but the boss doesn't come and tell the woman, she has to get it from the man. She is now told what the hierarchy is. That I go to the man when I have a question, not the God. And then, even though she is never given the instructions directly from God, she somehow has the instructions. We know that she repeats them a little differently, but she repeats them to the snake. And then when she eats of it, and then her husband also eats of it, she gets blamed for everything. And so what I see as a woman is that men were like, we have to blame everything on something. We can't blame it on the God, and we can't certainly blame ourselves. Let's write a woman into the story. All right, so here she is. Also, they said, hey, that's the one thing that women do that we don't do, and that is give life. She gives life. Let's take that away from her, and we'll have life start with Adam. That's what we'll do right there. So now we've taken life from her, and we blamed her for everything bad. That doesn't sound equal to me.
I mean, she wasn't the only one that got punished because Abraham, in the story of the garden, everything was paradise, right? So, as it is Genesis 3 or Genesis, I forget which verse it is. It might be 3. Anyways, her punishment was the bearing of children, and it's going to be painful. And now your desires will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. And then he told Adam, and now you, pretty much, in a nutshell, you're gonna have to bust your ass now to provide and protect for her instead of having everything given out to you.
What was his real punishment? His real punishment was you will toil the ground and you will eat the fruit. So for eating fruit, he gets to eat fruit. I want you to remember that, okay? For eating fruit, his punishment is to eat fruit. He was already toiling the ground. So him having to toil the ground wasn't really punishment. It was reiterating what he was already doing. And now you will eat that fruit.
Right.
That's not punishment. She has to face pain in childbirth. Oh, wait a minute. But things didn't get hard because here we are in 2025, okay? And women, if we believe this story, still deal with the pain of childbirth. I'm sorry, do you go out and till the field? Are men the only ones working?
No.
Why are women supposed to share in the burden of the man's punishment today in 2025, but men don't have to feel the pain of the childbirth I have in 2025?
Well, a lot of guys that I know, they want to provide for their wives, and they want to work a lot harder than their wives.
I don't know anybody like that. They say that, but then they sit there and play on their PS5 all day. I don't really know these men. They say they want this, but then they don't do these things. And maybe we don't want it. And we don't want to be little kept women.
I was going to say
That's
that.
not equal. Equal is saying that we both get to decide what we want to do with our lives, that we have autonomy of our decisions. And that Bible and that story in Eve, with Eve and Adam, is not equality. It is hierarchy. It's supremacy.
So what do you say to the woman who says, "No, I just want to stay home and I want my man to provide for
Good
me"?
for
Listen,
her. She can
I'm a
do that
stay-at-home
if they want
mom,
to.
and I can do it, but
Right.
I choose to do it.
No, I get
because
that, but
no,
um,
it's the choice.
no, I
It's
get that. I'm saying, you guys are, was it? You guys just said it earlier, like a couple seconds ago, like we don't want that, but there are women that do
I
want
said
that.
maybe we
no.
don't want that. I said maybe we don't want that. I'm saying it should be a choice, an equal choice. We shouldn't be told this is what you are supposed to do. This is
Oh
what you
no,
were
for sure,
designed to do.
for sure. No, I
And
don't
we
agree
are
with that
told that
either.
all the time.
Yes.
We're told that by our salaries. We're told that by the fact that we can't get prenatal care, we can't get daycare because, oh, we're such a burden. The fuck? And yet you guys want us to have more babies? Go out there, pop
Yeah,
out more babies. The
I don't have
birthing thing is on the decline. Oh no.
I don't have children, so I can, I mean, it's like I do appreciate children. Don't get me wrong, I have nieces and nephews, but I can care less about parenting. I that's not for me. So I have no I don't really talk about
I
this kind of
really
She's
stuff.
just
I'm
giving
just,
you examples.
yeah,
She's
no, I
giving
get
you
it.
No, but I
examples.
do
I'm just saying, like,
appreciate you. I'm really glad that you. I really appreciate people who make decisions and say, you know what, kids aren't for me. And I think that more people should be proud to say that, and more people should be applauded when they do say it, because I think too many people are parents who never wanted to be.
oh, true, true. I agree with that too. I agree with that. I mean, one of the things that do concern me, you know, like not to get off the Bible too much, but as far as this goes, one of the things that kind of worries me a little bit is that, like, you know, like I can be successful, you know, like, uh, you know, I'm moving up and you know, in the like food and beverage industry. That's where I've been working at for the last 3 years, supervisor for like stadiums and a bunch of like convention centers and things like that. So I'm moving up, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things that concerns me is like all my family has children. They all have like their little, you know, their little crew, and they go on vacations and all this and that. And I'm like, well, eventually, bro, everyone's gonna grow up. They're gonna be old, and they're gonna do this and that. You're gonna have absolutely nobody with you. You know, like, I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, just be like, Jonathan, let me, you know, my older brother, like, let me go live with you. You know, or you know, I just don't know what's. You know, am I gonna pass away alone? You know, I worry about that a little bit,
No,
but not
let me
enough
tell
to
you
not enough to make me
something.
want to have a kid. You know, like that
Good,
doesn't make me want to
good.
have a kid, right?
Because I just want you to know that I had older aunts and uncles who never got married for one reason or another. That it was a different time, and I think that some of them were LGBTQIA and couldn't marry the person they loved, and I think others of them were polyamorous and couldn't because of the times we grew up. And but what they did was had very solid friendships, and when they got older, their friends and all took care of each other, and they still had us, their nieces and their nephews, and of course we took care of them.
Oh,
Have you
that's
seen Golden Girls? They had some of them had kids, and they were
Yeah.
all hanging out together.
oh, those. I'm not familiar with that, but that is actually very. It helps me. It makes me feel better. Yeah, because it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
there might be a niece or a nephew of mine that, you know, grow. I mean, they all love me, but they might be really fond of me enough to hang around me, you know, when I get older. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
Absolutely. I have an aunt and uncle that I love dearly, and I really didn't know this aunt and uncle for very long before she told me to, like, I would like you to be the executor of our will when we pass, because I think that you would make sure that my kids didn't fight, and they got what they deserved, and I won't have to worry about somebody else taking care of it. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, of course I'll do that for you. And if she needed me, I'd come up and take care of her too when she was sick, because she's my aunt and I love her and she's a good person, and my uncle's a good person.
Yeah.
Now I have other aunts and uncles that could just fuck right off. Okay, I will not be there. They can just fuck right off. They can
That's
get a
funny.
different niece or nephew.
Yeah.
That's not going to
Yeah.
be me.
I hear that. Okay, so let me get your thoughts on this. What do you guys think is happening? What do you think is happening when someone, like when families tell stories, or someone tells you a story like, I was visited by my grandma, or, well, what is it? I saw God, or I saw Jesus, or I had an encounter with, something supernatural. What do you think is happening there?
I
I
think
don't
there
know.
could be a
It
lot of
depends.
different things. Yeah, I agree with Layth. I think there could be a lot of different things that happen. For me, when my sister died when I was 12, I had a very realistic dream that she came and picked me up, and it's not always called schizophrenia. That's not true. She came and picked me up in this dream. It felt very real though at the time, and I don't remember where she took me now. I used to remember for years where she took me, but we went around somewhere or whatever, and then she brought me back home, and she told me everything was okay, and everybody told me she came and visited me. And it would be years before I realized I just had a dream. It's okay. I had a dream during a time of grief. I wished I saw her again. She was my only sister that grew up with me, and I
I'm
lost
sorry.
somebody very significant to me. And I don't think that I, hallucinated. It felt very real because it was a time of great grief, and that happens. But I do believe there are times where people hallucinate. And one thing that I've learned by dealing with people who have gone into psychosis is that there's no difference to them between reality and that hallucination. There's no difference to them. It is just as real as anything that we see. And so understanding that makes me go, if that's what hallucinating is, then who's to say the other things that I saw that I thought were miraculous in my life were not hallucinations? Hallucinations cannot be, you can't decipher them when you're actively in them. You can't.
Yeah, that's the point of them. It's not like a lot of times it's described in like film where there's something wavy. It's called a hallucination or a delusion because you think it's true. Like you would think it's true. That's why people
And
think they see
sometimes-
God and then drown their children.
Sometimes the onset is gradual enough where you don't notice that you're steadily declining in your mental faculties, and these, your prefrontal cortex and your amygdala and your all of your neurotransmitters are slowly, gradually over time becoming more, out of balance, if you will. And that's really hard as the person going through that to notice, especially if it's never happened to you before. But I would suggest that if you're interested in all of these things and understanding more of why behind things and why people believe the things that they do and why these high control religions are as prevalent and easy, like people are susceptible to them and vulnerable to them, start reading about psychology, read about the brain, read about neuroscience, because those things are going to give you a deeper understanding as to why this is so attractive to so many people, why this religion has pretty much taken over our country and the better part of the world.
Okay, I mean that's good because I do like to do research. That's why I say I never came in here. I didn't come into your live, claiming anything. I like to talk to people and try to understand. I love that.
Yeah,
I
it's
appreciate
really
you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
you've been lovely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And,
So,
People are not
and that's
lovely.
the kind of conversations I like. So just because you hear me yell at somebody before you come up anyway,
no,
it's usually because they're being a bigot or a racist,
I
and
see.
then
Yeah, listen, when I
I
debate,
can't,
like,
I can't handle it.
I debate Muslims a lot, and it's so hard to talk to them versus like Christianity and Islam because they're always just yelling and muting me and things like that. I'm like, guys, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, bro. But I do want to share something with y'all, so you can at least tell me what you think about me.
Okay.
I was like just like all of us, we were taught these things, right? Christianity, Jesus. I didn't even understand Jesus until my later years. Like I was like probably the last 3-4 years, I finally understood, the meaning behind Jesus and the death on the cross and all this and that. Because before I was just like, why not? I mean, I just don't get it, right? So, anyways, I rebelled just like a lot of us do. I believed in everything but God. I just wanted to, like I've learned from my experiences and I've seen it all around the world. I mean, all around like my life that people just don't like to be told how to live, so especially from something they can't see, because a judge, you can see a judge and he'll tell you, don't do this, and you'll listen, but you definitely don't want to be told what to do from something you can't see. And it's not really being told what to do. It's more like I think the Bible is more of a suggestion, like,
No, it's not a suggestion if there's hell.
well, no, yeah, but that's your choice. You have free will.
I
So,
choose not to go to hell.
no, yeah, I get that. But okay, so look, let me just say this. So I rebelled, and I was like super into like darkness. I was just into the darkness, So I got to a point in my life where I was like, man, I'm spiraling out of control. Like I'm really losing myself here, right? So I just tried the one thing that I've never tried, and I was like, God, I humbly ask, if you're real, show yourself. And I say humbly because you don't have anything to prove to me, right? If you're up there, you're almighty, you don't have to prove anything to me. But it would really mean a lot to me if you did. So I did that as my New Year's resolution last year. I just prayed every day for the same thing, God, in the name of Jesus, please send me your Holy Spirit, reveal yourself to me. And it took 8 months for that to happen. On September 14th of last year, I had to work at the soccer stadium, and I woke up at 12:42. And mind you, I'm only sharing this story so you guys know why I turned to Christianity. I finally gave into it, and then you can explain to me what you think happened.
Okay.
So September 14th was a Saturday. I woke up at 12:42. I had to be at work at 5 o'clock. I was on Facebook Messenger with my aunt, and we're sending things back and forth. She's at a church. She's at a women's retreat at church. So I tried to FaceTime her, but she was like, hey, I'm at this retreat and then whatever. So we just sent things back to each other. And I told her, yo, Tia, I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, but I'm getting closer to God, and I feel something happening because I can feel God everywhere. And I feel like I see Jesus in my heart, like the way I move now, I'm over here hugging like strangers all over the place, like homeless people. They smell really bad, but I couldn't smell them anymore. I was just trying to bring them that love that they haven't received in a long time. So I would give them food and, and mind you, I was always doing these things, but after getting closer to God, trying to experience him and see and feel God, I just started to do these things naturally, and I loved it. So whatever. So she writes back like something really powerful, like an amen, like I really love that, blah, blah, blah. She says some really powerful things. I put the phone down. It's 1:12. And then I had the encounter. I had a 3-hour encounter with what I believe to be the Holy Spirit. And mind you, the entire time I'm asking myself, what is this? What is happening? It was actually way too much that I had to ask the Holy Spirit to kind of chill out, because it actually felt like so much love, a love that I've never felt ever in my life. Vibrations that I never felt ever in my life. It was almost like vibrations and the butterflies. You know how butterflies are
All right,
usually in
so
your...
I'm gonna go ahead and stop you because I will never know what happened to you. I can't go back now and do brain waves on you. I can't. There's no camera to show me what occurred in the room with you. There's nothing going to show me that. But just so you know, there are people from all religions who have stories exactly like yours, and
Right.
if we believe yours, then we must say that all of theirs are just as true, but they can't because your gods conflict with each other and say the others don't exist. But what I can tell you is that we all have different experiences, and yet every single time we do anything to actually figure out what causes something, and we do it until we find the answer, it's always a natural answer. Not one time have we ever looked for an answer and said, oh my God, it was magic all along. You guys, you know how the lightning works? It was magic. We did all the research and we came back with magic. It's never been magic. There's always something, whether it is a hallucination, a religious psychosis, whether it's something that happens in our dopamine levels or serotonin levels that go off the charts for whatever reason. I will never know. And I don't want to discount what you went through. You went through something and it was life-changing for you. But you know what happened with me? I one day realized, hey, I don't think I believe in this God anymore. I think that I just keep praying to him and talking to him because I did that constantly because I believed you should be in constant prayer with God.
Right.
And so I did the opposite of you. I said, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I don't think you're real and you don't do anything. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. Everything that's done, every homeless person that gets fed is through people like me. You're not doing anything. You sit up there and tell us to worship you and you do nothing. I'm not talking to you anymore. And you know what happened? Everything in my life got better. When there was a problem, I realized, oh, no thoughts and prayers today. Crystal, how are you going to fix this? And then I would figure out how to fix the problem because that's what I was doing before. And I was giving him credit for it. Or I was praying and waiting for an answer instead of getting off my ass and fixing the problem.
Right. And I don't doubt that your heart was in it. Like, I'm pretty sure your heart was in it.
Yeah, and I didn't leave God because I wanted nobody to tell me what to do. And I also don't agree that most people don't want people to tell them what to do. And I'll tell you why I don't agree. I was in the service industry too for many years. And I worked at Denny's. And I don't know if you've ever seen a Denny's menu, but it's a fucking novel, okay? It's the biggest fucking thing. There's no reason for it to be that big, okay?
It is. I think it's crazy.
It rivals the Cheesecake Factory.
People hate it. Did you know that? They hate that big fucking thing because they are like, it's too much information. They don't want to make a decision. So I would come up as a waitress and I would say, well, what do you like? Well, I like pancakes. Then you want the Grand Slam. Here you go. And I made the decisions for them. And I got better tips when I did that because just trying to figure out what they wanted to eat was overwhelming to them. And it made them already grumpy at the get when I first walked up to the table. So if I could help them decide faster, that always made for a more pleasant visit with them. People like to be told what to do.
Well, I only say that out of experience. Like I said, I have a lot of atheist friends, and that's a lot of the things that they say. It's like, I'm not going to be told what to do and how to live my life. Like, I'm just going to make my own decisions.
Do you ever feel that way, Schley? Was that like one of your defining factors? You don't want God telling you what to do?
Not at all. I couldn't have said anything that you just said better. It's not about detracting from what your experience was. The thing is, many of us here, including myself, can tell you that we had similar quote unquote encounters or experiences when we were Christians as well. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know the feelings, I know the vibrations, I know the sense of the spirit that you're talking about. And the thing is that it is very powerful and very compelling until you understand the neuroscience and the psychology and the hormonal state and the neurotransmitters that could have been at play and the brain chemistry that could have been at play. all of these things can be explained by natural things. And until you rule every single natural reason for something taking place out, you cannot jump to magical, mystical things to be the explanation. That's just simply not how reason and understanding works, right? So that's what I would have to say. But no, my experience coming out of the faith was kicking and screaming, I would say. I did not want to lose my faith. I did not appreciate losing my faith. There was no reason for me to have lost my faith. If God wanted one, he had one with me, okay? If he needed a super, obedient, faithful servant, a good little soldier, I was the girl, right? I was telling everyone about my Jesus, okay? I loved me some Jesus, okay? And I was just like you. I was standing on street corners, passing out. I was doing haircuts for the homeless, and I loved those homeless friends of mine, those unhoused people. I loved on them so much, and I gave them free haircuts every Saturday, okay? I know the things that you're saying, and I know how compelling it feels to you. What I'm saying is there are natural explanations, and we've all been there as well. So it's a matter of, for me, it was just like what Crystal said. It was this overtime unraveling that I could no longer allow the cognitive dissonance that I was fighting to be an excuse to stay where I was. And learning and growing just compelled me to the place that I'm at currently, which is, I don't like to put labels on things. I don't think anybody deserves or is owed like an explanation of what I am or who I am. I'm just Schley, you know. I'm doing the best I can every day, and it's fucking hard, dude. But I do
hang
know
on one second. I think Biblical wanted to say something real quick. Biblical, were you waiting to say something? I'm so sorry.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you waited so long.
No, you're good. Slay pretty much covered what I was going to cover.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I kind of tend to get a little rambly when I get going. I'm quiet for a while and then I'll get a little rambly. But yeah, I just want it to be very clear. I didn't leave my faith because I wanted to. I left because reason and understanding and the cracks and fissures in my faith became too evident over time, and it was a very painful process.
And it was never about, I don't want somebody telling me what to do. It's never been that. Like, not ever once was that the thought. That
So that's
I'm
what I mean,
going
like,
to not believe anymore because I don't want somebody to tell me what to do. If this is a God who really, first of all, if anything was believable in that book, I probably would believe it. It's not believable. I can't believe it anymore. I can't go back to going, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense now that millions of people were in an exodus and we can't find one bone, one piece of pottery, one anything. Oh yeah, we'll just pretend that donkeys talked, even though they don't have the fucking right equipment to talk, We'll just pretend that rock badgers chew cud and pretend we don't have science. We'll just keep pretending that we don't know that genealogy isn't passed down through men, it's passed down through the mitochondrial DNA in women, and that's how genealogy should have been presented in the Bible the whole time. I can't keep pretending anymore. And that's what really happened.
Yeah, that pretty much, because it's kind of hard for me to, when you guys say, oh, just unravel through time and just cracks and this, and I'm like, well, what exactly happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, what made you question it,
It was all
There
of
wasn't
all of these.
Yeah.
There's hardly ever I'm trying to think. I can't even think of someone, maybe Crystal or Shay or Biblical. I can't think of anyone that said, I read this one verse or,
I pray
I
this
can
one
think
prayer.
of
Like
one thing. I can tell you one story.
okay.
Joel, I'm not stealing your story, Joel. I'm just telling it, okay? So don't come at me, bro. Okay, Joel
Oh,
reads
that's right.
Bible
Okay.
will tell you that the story of when Isaac and Abraham? God, I'm getting names mixed up here.
Yes.
Abraham takes Isaac to be sacrificed, right? And he's like, I'm going to sacrifice you. Go build a fire. And Isaac's like, okay. But well, before he hasn't said he's going to sacrifice him yet. He's like, well, what are we going to use for the sacrifice, Dad? And then, Isaac's like sitting there. Oh, sorry. Anyway, God provides a ram. Remember, God provides a ram. And if God is providing a sacrifice, then it's not a sacrifice. Because a sacrifice literally means that you've given up something. And if it's just sitting there for you, all of it is arbitrary. And that's what Jesus is. He's arbitrary. Why does God need to unalive his son to shed blood for himself to forgive us for sin he created, put into this world so he could feel better? This is all arbitrary. And that was a big breaking point for Joel. He was like, that, none of that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I see that. Yeah, a lot of those questions do pop up a lot in conversations. Like if God is, almighty and everything, like why do this? Why even have to go through that route and all this and that? Obviously I don't have the answers for that. I'm still trying to understand myself. Because it is true. I'm like, well, why even, Lucifer, why? If you knew, the big question I get asked all the time is, well, and I tell you, guys, I don't know. Like, I'm not God, but why create Lucifer if he would rebel? Like things like that. I'm like, hey, that's beyond me. You know what I'm saying? Way beyond me.
But that's an everlasting thought stopper when you say it's just beyond me. You need to sorry, I'm not telling you what to do.
No, I get it.
If you say like, oh, that's just God, then you've kind of metaphorically thrown up your hands in the air and said, I don't know, God. And so but I don't accept that.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
A lot of things in this world don't make sense to me. And I throw my hands in the air because I'm like, whatever.
And I don't. And that's the difference. I got tired of throwing my hands in the air. I got tired of saying, okay, well, God's ways are higher than our ways. No. Why do I allow that for this God? But if you told me the same story about a God in, let's say, ancient Africa, I would tell you, well, that was just something that tribes believed back then. It's a tribe. You guys, this is a fucking tribe. It's just a tribe that was in a different part of the world. And yet they still believe the same mythological shit. And you guys go, oh yeah, but that's true. Why? Why is it not true then about Zeus? Why is it not true then about, in any of the many other gods that have existed throughout time?
So you have studied mythology, right? You said?
I haven't done a lot of mythology studying, but I am studying. Since I deconstructed, I study philosophy and history and science, and it's getting hard for my ADHD brain. Actually, I'm getting tested this month because I'm having trouble.
Well, I mean, as far as mythology goes, and I'm still, because I have a lot of friends, or my family members too. They're like, well, Joe, you're gonna confuse yourself if you if you try to dig into something else outside of the Bible. Right?
Why are you afraid of knowledge?
No, I'm not afraid of knowledge. That's why I'm still looking it up.
They tell him that. They tell him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, why would you be afraid? Not you, but like, why would a person be afraid of knowledge?
True. So anyways, but I still look it up. So I looked up that.
Good.
And mind you, I told my mom and, things like this, and they're like, Joey, that's crazy. That sounds like nonsense. I'm like, okay, well, we at least have to take it into consideration, right? Well, mythology, I mean, we all know about the fallen angels, right? So the reason why I believe, like you just said, why not those other gods? Why not those other religious leaders and all this and that, right? Well, mythology showed me, and like I said, I'm still looking this up, that there were hundreds of gods, millions of gods that everybody was worshiping, right? but they were all fallen angels, more like just masquerading as
No, they
gods,
weren't.
right?
That's not true. There's no
Well, that's what I
evidence
mean.
for
But
that. I don't. Hindu is the
that's what I mean.
oldest
This is
religion. Their gods outdate Yahweh, and just Yahweh
right.
making
Exactly. Yeah.
claims
Exactly.
doesn't make
Yeah.
them true.
I no 100% because I learned that. I learned that Yahweh was more like a new kid on the block, you know, and he didn't show up until a certain point. Now the claims that like the things that were claiming back then was that all these tribes, all these other people, they were all praying to their gods, and supposedly nothing would happen, and then someone would say, "Hey, well, my God Yahweh, he's actually performing miracles." And
All right,
so
we're going to take you to the Bible. I'm going to show you a little story in your Bible about what gods were doing before Yahweh, okay? We're going to turn to Jeremiah 44, okay? We're in Jeremiah 44, verse 15. This is when Yahweh is mad because he finds out that the women are still worshiping the Queen of Heaven, okay?
right.
Then all the men who were aware that their wives had been making offerings to other gods, and all the women who stood by a great assembly, all the people who lived in Pathros in the land of Egypt, answered Jeremiah, "As for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord," remember when I say Lord here, I'm actually saying Yahweh. They don't say it because it's too holy, right? So it's actually Yahweh, okay? "In the name of Yahweh, we are not going to listen to you. Instead, we will do everything that we have vowed, make offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pour out libations to her just as we and our ancestors, our kings and our officials used to do in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. We used to have plenty of food and prospered and saw no misfortune. But from the time we stopped making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her, we have lacked everything and have perished by the sword and famine." And the women said, "Indeed, we will go on making offerings to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out libations to her. Do you think we made cakes for her marked with her image and poured out libations to her without the husbands being involved?" They're telling you that before Yahweh, their life was amazing. He fucked everything up. So no,
Well,
God didn't come into the picture and suddenly their life got better. God came into the picture, said, "I'm your only God now, bitches." And he fucked them up.
well, I don't really know what to say about that. I didn't even know there was a queen in heaven, a queen of heaven.
Look up Asherah. Look up
Asherah.
Lilith. Look up, there's lots of women that are erased from the Bible because it was written by men for men in a tribe that was male dominant, a patriarchal society, a bunch of misogynists, and they don't want you to know.
So let me ask you, if because I can see why that's the point you're making. Like, it's all the point you're making is like it's written by men for men, right? But those same men are telling men now, like me, certain things like you shouldn't have sex before marriage.
Why shouldn't you?
Don't.
Why shouldn't you? Why
Well, that's
shouldn't
what I'm
you have
saying though.
sex
Like,
before marriage? If you're a consenting adult, they are a consenting adult. You're using
right,
protection.
but
You're being informed. You're giving informed consent. Go fuck your brains out. You know why they're telling you not to do that? Because nobody would fuck them, and they don't want you to have fun that they're not having. Christian men are the biggest cock blockers on the planet. Everybody would have more sex if Christian men weren't so fucking hung up on owning women as I have to collect them all like Pokemon. They're all mine. If they would just allow people to go out and have fun and enjoy life, there'd be a lot less sexually repressed people out here doing God knows what with their pew-pews to other people.
their pew-pews. And I
Yeah,
get
they
it.
should go fuck more. Fuck more, pew-pew less.
Oh, I get it. Oh, my bad. I understand what you just said. I
Yeah,
got it.
pew-pew.
Yeah. No, I got it. Well, that's what I mean. I kind of, I don't know. Like, I just don't feel like it's really of course it's written by man, but not for man, because the Bible kind of makes my life a little restricted.
All right, so
And I like that.
What verses were written to women? The ones that tell me to shut up, and the ones that tell me not to speak in church,
there
and
was
the ones that tell me to submit to my husband. All other verses are written to men. The verses are to men. Men, do not touch women when you go up on Mount Sinai. Men, do not fuck your aunt, okay? Men, do this, do that. I'm sorry, which verse was, maybe there's a book for me. I think Ruth was supposed to have something to do with women, but it's also, it's written to men. All of these are instructions and directions for men. Women are the side thought, the afterthought, the side character.
Right.
None of this was written to women.
Right. And that's 100% Old Testament, because
No, that's New Testament too. Jesus calls a woman a dog because she is begging for him to save her daughter's life, who she believes is demon possessed. I'm sorry, Biblical, you got your hand up. I'm going to catch you this time. Go ahead.
So Mighty, got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you? And this isn't political. Okay. How do you feel about abortion?
Honestly, I really don't think about it. Like I said, I'm not a parent, so it's like I think I would stand more on the. Like I said, I really don't think about it, but I guess I don't know. It's a hard one for me.
would you vote against it?
I wouldn't vote. Would I vote against it? I don't think so. I mean, no, I don't think so. Like I said, I don't think so much
I gotta
about
do
it,
a
so
little
I don't think so.
housekeeping real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt everybody, but it is the top of the hour. And while I don't do anything like Mezzo and Jewel do at the top of the hour, what I need to tell you is it's actually time for me to close down unless we meet the gift goal. If we do, I will stay another hour. We'll talk for about 5 more minutes. And yes, I will play one more song for you guys. But otherwise, we're going to wrap it up for today and we can meet back here tomorrow. Gifts are not expected, but they're always appreciated. And every time you gift me, you're helping me upgrade my equipment. And we've upgraded the desk, the light, the blackout curtains, and we're getting a new chair this week. And pretty soon I will have a tower and I will be able to be live on Twitch, horizontal, vertical on YouTube, and over here on the TikTokies. So thank you guys for all being here and hanging out today. If you are in the guest box, come back tomorrow. I will be live at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But you guys can finish up with one last thought each or whatever, and then I'll play a song for everybody and play us out.
Yeah, biblical. I think you were going somewhere with that.
Yeah. Do you know that the Bible supports abortion?
As far as like children sacrificing and stuff like that.
No.
No, it actually tells
There's actually
you how to.
There's actually two specific passages. One of them is ripping out the baby and dashing it against a rock. That is a form of abortion. The other one, the one I'm actually referencing here, is a story of the trial of the bitter waters. Now, this is a ritual that was performed if a wife was thought to have been unfaithful, right? For any reason, if the husband just had a wild hair up his ass and thought that his wife was unfaithful, he could drag her before the priest, and the priest would perform this ritual and give her a concoction. Now, this concoction was made from dust on the floor, part of that day's sacrifice, and a few other things, and she was forced to drink this. And it would cause an abortion. It would cause a miscarriage symptoms. If she was pregnant, it would cause an abortion. But 9 times out of 10, we know what would happen with this. It would leave the woman barren completely. She would not be able to get pregnant after that point.
And I'm not doubting you. I kind of just want to do my research on that. Can you show me, or can you give me like that verse, that chapter, that passage? Like, do you know where we could point that out to me?
Yeah.
So I can look it up.
Yeah. You're looking for Numbers 5:11 through 31.
Love it. Numbers 5:11. Oh, look at that. It popped up. All right, I'll do my
31.
research on this for sure.
Can I just say, go ahead, Crystal.
No, you go right ahead.
Okay, I'll make it short. I just wanted to say that I have appreciated this conversation, RXO. And I mean this with all of the respect from human to human. But I have noticed a theme throughout the conversation that I'd just like to point out. And it's when you don't know about something, it's often just, oh, I throw my hands in the air and his ways are higher and I don't have to understand that because it doesn't affect me. And that's really what it comes down to is we weren't afforded that luxury as women. These things do affect us. Our rights are being removed actively from not just women, but from a lot of people because of this text. And that's, it becomes an issue. And so I just want you to, because it's a very privileged position, right? If it doesn't affect me, well, I don't have kids. I don't plan to have kids, so I don't have to worry about that. These types of excuses that you're making because you can then live in this tiny little bubble where it protects you and keeps you cozy because you like what it says and you don't have to think about it any further. I would encourage you to continue asking these questions, to do some research, to look into the passages more. And when you hit that wall of like, well, I don't have to think too hard about that, keep pressing. Don't just give up there, okay?
Yeah.
Because that frankly, that's a little bit old and lazy, and I don't think you are a lazy person. It sounds like you're very inquisitive and you're capable of much deeper understanding and much deeper ways of thinking than what you're giving yourself credit for at this point. So just keep pressing on and asking those questions. That's what I wanted to say.
I do appreciate that, but I will say boldly, I'm not trying to lose my faith.
I wasn't either, and I don't want to take faith from somebody, especially if they need it. We've learned that there's a lot of people who would literally kill their kids next door if they lost their faith. They've told us they would just kill everybody. If it weren't for God, there's nothing stopping them from just doing shit. It's weird, and that's just so. I'm not trying to do that with anybody. If somebody can't handle themselves because they need God, I'm not trying to take that from them for sure. But what I am trying to get people to do is critically think. And I don't think people do it when it comes to this text. I think they say all other text is mythology, but this one is special, and that's special pleading. And I have to ask people, why are you doing that? So a couple of things I do want to encourage you is please come back anytime I'm live. If you see any
you guys are
topic,
cool.
I love having this conversation with you. It's been great because I hate the yelling and screaming and the cussing at each other. And even if you see me do that to somebody come up anyway, it's because they're a bigot or a racist or a misogynist. So that's why they get it. Also, if you ever see my friends Joel Reads Bible or Mezzo on later in the evening, or during the day you see Trust But Verify or one of those guys, those are great guys to talk to too, and they'd love to have conversations like this with you.
I definitely will be back. I really appreciate you guys. You guys were really nice.
Yeah, I think it would be good too. Yeah, absolutely. You guys, I'm going to play a song for us and then we're going to close up for today. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank my guests, RXO, Schley, Biblical, and Lathe. You guys have been amazing. If there's somebody to Rhea and Zenna are also, you guys, how can I list every creator? Board Agnostic is amazing too. Follow Board Agnostic. They just walked in. Okay, you guys, thank you for all the like, share, all the love. I appreciate you so much. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Does somebody have somebody that we should raid? Also, what song do we want to hear right now? Do we want to do? Anybody got a request? I haven't done Evelina Ballerina today. Do you want to cry? Shley, what do you want to hear?
I was just going to say, I think Ty here was saying, miss me with that misogyny. And Christ Before Jesus is on, so you could rate him.
Okay, we will rate CBJ. We're going to hear, Zenna May is like, rate Zenna May. Go say Crystaljae rate. I love her. Thank you so much, Clara. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Miss me with that misogyny. Oops, I think I have my volume down.
Kiss me.
So we're going to start it over.
Miss me, now you gotta kiss me.
Okay, go to Zenman.
You interrupt my sentence, call it just a thought.
Thank
Say
you,
a little strong
Shay.
I'll catch you later.
until you get caught.
Bye, Biblical. Thanks for coming
You
up.
keeps it light and sweet.
Not a problem.
Down,
Anytime.
little man, and kiss my feet. Yeah, you're misinformed, misguided,
Bye, Lane.
mistaken. And that charm,
Boy, I know you're faking this me.
with that misogyny.
You ain't the man you think you be.
Miss me with that hypocrisy. Your fragile ego and royalty.
I'm misbehaving. I'm just being me. Miss me. Doug Burt.
Miss me with
That
that misogyny.
Oh, I have merch in my Discord.
You quote some podcast, call
You
it
guys should see the
intellect.
merch.
But all I see is you begging for respect. You rate our bodies, dismiss our brains, then cry not all men again.
I'm going to stop the song for a minute. I have merch for all my songs, and it is. I think I dropped in the Discord. If I want, I'm going to do it right when I get off the live here, but I think I dropped it last night in the Discord for all my songs. The consent one is my favorite. It says in really small writing, you'll catch these hands if you lay hands on me without my fucking, and then it says really big, CONSENT. I have Justice for Abelina stickers and mugs, ex parte mugs, Water's Edge, no gods, no kings, no gods. Also, I will be working on my podcast. That should be coming out real soon. Those will be all my sermons. I will be reading them in a very nice microphone, and I will have a little music playing in the background, ambiance, if you will. And I will be putting together that podcast so you can listen to my sermons or share them with people eventually too. Make sure you're following me on YouTube. I am Crystaljae, and YouTube, thank you for being here. Let's get back to the song. Sorry about that.
Miss me with your tone. Miss me with your sigh. Miss me with your sweetheart. Boy, bye, bye, bye. Miss me with that misogyny. Don't need your fake apology. Miss me, can't you see? I'm a star. You're just an extra, baby. Miss me with that misogyny. Misogyny.
I am Crystaljae is my YouTube. JAE. And the songs are on my YouTube, and they will be released as an album on Spotify this month, in January here, coming up. So you guys, thank you so much. Go raid Zenamaid. Tell her Crystaljae raid. Have a great day, everybody. See you.
Fucking drowning with a fucking T. Them hoes be drowning. You don't know what's wrong with them. You have no fucking idea. Like, we sitting up here, you coming up here trying to protect some fucking body when really we don't give a fuck. We was just talking to her because we ain't had nobody in the box, babes. It ain't no thing but a motherfucking chicken wing.
We got somebody now, though. Following has been pretty patient.
Yeah, she been raptured. Don't worry about it.
My mama used to say, motherfuckers be coming in at the ass end of the conversation and wonder why they get treated like shit. You come in, we've been talking to this girl for like more than an hour. Here you come. Captain, save a motherfucking hoe.
Yeah, so Hey, yeah, Jojo, yeah, somebody paid to drop you, so that's why I dropped you. So yeah, we ain't worry about it. Following. What's up? Can we get your age for TikTok purposes, please?
28.
Oh, absolutely. I'm responding to a comment. Somebody put 100 lords, and I was like, hey, absolutely. It's always 100 lords. Yeah, but appreciate it, bro. Can we get your? No, I just asked you for your age.
28.
Yeah, my bad. I caught myself. So what's your most compelling evidence for the existence of God in or Jesus outside of personal testimony?
Uh, one another thing I look at in our lives is how life starts to make us look. You know, you could look at somebody and be like, dang, I ain't seen him in 2 years, but it look like life done beat them up. Or you could see somebody in 2 years and they be like, dang, they done glowed up. You know, that change of physical appearance lets us know that we have a status. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
That's how you look at it.
I'm saying that's how I look at it. Like, you know, it's like, oh, if I smoke too much, you can see that I'm starting to become a pothead. You can see that. You know, you can see our spiritual appearance on us.
Can you?
Yeah.
How is that?
Because you could smoke for a year and look like a full-blown smoker.
No, I mean, no, I'm talking about the spiritual appearance. Because don't Christians get beat up too?
Well, the thing is, when you got the Holy Spirit to clean you up from accepting Jesus, I could look like a smoker this year and then stop smoking for, you know, a whole year, and then I turn around and look like a whole nother person.
But what if I see you this year and say, damn, that motherfucker look terrible. Life must be beating his ass.
Right, because that's my
Life must
spiritual.
be
That's
life
because that's
must
my
be
spiritual
Jake
standing at the
Paul in
point
his
at the
fucking
time.
ass. Life done broke his jaw in two places like Jake Paul.
It's
If I
like
see you this year.
instead of us being condescending towards each other and towards each other's points, it's like, do you even have a point? If you don't
What was
believe in,
your
if you
No,
point?
don't,
I'm
hold
sir.
on, hold on,
confused.
hold
No.
on,
What
hold
is
on.
no,
If
don't
you
hold
don't
on.
believe in
Don't hold
this,
on because
if you don't believe
listen,
in this, then what's your point?
listen, you know we don't believe and you
Okay, so
came
if you
up
don't
anyway.
believe in it, then
Listen,
what's your
be quiet,
standing?
be
So what'd you
quiet.
come up
You
here
know we
for?
don't believe and you came up anyway.
Okay, so
So why are you here?
my point is, fill me in on your mentality. Instead of trying to
Why?
pick my brain and laugh at
Why?
me,
You
how about you
came up
fill me in on
here,
your mentality?
sir. We wouldn't be able to do that. You came up. What do you mean pick your
Ma'am,
brain?
this is an open discussion. Are you
Exactly. So why won't you
so
have it? So why won't you have the discussion?
I'm having the
Okay,
discussion,
all
but
right.
you're not giving
So
me any
so wait a
feedback.
minute. Wait a minute. The question the host asked was, what was your question? Ask it again, please. Be easy.
What? Excuse me. What's your most compelling evidence for the existence of God and or Jesus outside of personal testimony?
Okay, so if I can't talk about the Bible because y'all don't believe in the Bible, then that's out the equation.
Well,
So then
well, well,
I have
because
to come from a different angle, right?
yeah, and I get that. And you like,
Okay, so I'm
and
trying to
if
explain it
you,
from a different angle, but I got people laughing. It's like, what are we laughing about? We
cause
grown,
cause
right?
cause
I
all
asked you for
cause
clarity
yeah,
because
I
I'm
didn't
confused.
Okay,
understand
and when
that.
I gave clarity,
Hey,
people still
following
not
one
You
hearing
second,
me.
didn't
following
because you keep
one
doing
second,
that.
following 1 second. Yeah, and I didn't understand that laughing had an age limit on it. But like if you talk out of the Bible, I'm only going to ask you what makes you think the Bible is true. You know, following that was the question to you. I'm saying like if you talk out of the Bible, I'm only going to ask you what makes you think the Bible is true. Following you on mute, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, point is, I was just pretty much using the our physical appearance as a way to show that, you know, the things that we do becomes visible on us. It's like I could see when somebody's playing with witchcraft. It's like I couldn't see these things before I had a relationship with Jesus. But when I started growing my relationship with Jesus, it started to become easier to see these things. It's just like seeing Kenneth Copeland and Erica Kurt, that energy in their eyes. That's a demon behind them. We can't see
That's a
spirits,
Christian.
right? But she's using God. She's not submitted to God. She's using God. She's not a Christian. She's just using it. She's just using it as an image. She's not Christian. She got evil in her eyes. You could clearly
How do
see
you know
that.
she's not? How do you know she's not a Christian?
I could
When
look in her
Jesus,
eyes.
wait,
I could look
listen,
in her
listen.
eyes, man. I could look
When
in her
Jesus
eyes and
said,
tell she's not submitted to
when
Jesus.
Jesus said, I do not come for peace, but with a sword. I came to turn mother against daughter, father against son.
Who Jesus said what?
Jesus said, I did not come for peace, but a sword. I came to turn mother against father,
Jesus never
daughter. I
said
mean,
that.
mother. Yes, he did.
What
Yes, he
what
did.
what
Let me
what
find it.
scripture? What
Hold
scripture?
on.
What Bible
Hold
verse
on.
did Jesus say that?
That's crazy. And I hope you're gonna
And then people trying to say I'm
verbally
lying. People trying
concede.
to say
Hey,
I'm.
hey, 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 hey. I hope you're gonna verbally concede when
It's
they bring
Matthew
It's
it up.
10,
Matthew 10,
34.
34
Yeah.
through 36. I mean, listen, y'all better read that Bible because I'm going to ask you about it every time.
All right, be easy. I gotta drop. I'm